Chapter 7:22. The palace sped past. This time, Feng Mieshing and the rest did not come only for Monster Sunflower City. Magic City Catacombs had 13 cities. Now, there were 12 cities. There were still 5 Monster Plant Clan cities. All 5 royal cities had people entering the restricted area. However, the number of people varied. When they reached the last city, there were exactly 50 martial artists. In the palace, there was more than one room. Everyone gathered in the main hall. Li Yi looked bored. Sitting on the throne in the main hall, he said casually, "Muhi, tell them about the royal court so that we don't have to waste our breath when we go in." As soon as Li Yi finished speaking, a rank, 7 martial artists standing behind him glanced at Fang Ping, and the rest, shouting, "Listen up, I'll only say it once. If you don't hear me clearly when you enter the restricted area and reach the royal court, don't blame me for not making myself clear. The restricted area has 4 royal courts. Aside from the Demon Royal Court, there are 2 other royal courts, Sky Plant and Destiny. Under the royal court, there are 36 dynasties. Only those with true kings are worthy of being called dynasties. Similar to dynasties are divine sects. There are countless sects in the restricted area. Divine sects also have true kings. Within the Sky Plant Royal Court, there are 8 divine sects and 12 affiliated dynasties. Fang Ping's expression did not change. He actually wanted to ask if the true kings of these sects and dynasties were counted in the True King Palace. If they were not, then it would be terrifying. Even if the lowest was a true king, there would be 20 more true king powerhouses. However, these people in the catacombs were cruel. Fang Ping did not want to stand out, lest he was implicated. Fortunately, Commander Mu, he said quickly, in the royal court, there is the True King Palace. All true kings in the territory enter the True King Palace. There are 49 true kings in the True King Palace. Divine sects and dynasties were founded by true kings. As for the other true kings, some cultivate in seclusion, some roam the divine land. The True King Palace does not care about worldly affairs. The royal court is ruled by the Lord of Kings. There are countless cities under his jurisdiction. In the divine land, which is the restricted area in your eyes, the cities are not like the outskirts. Any city can be called a royal city. The rank 7 commander said disdainfully, in the royal court, there is only one royal city, Sky Plant City. Below the imperial city was the imperial city. The city lords of the imperial city were all divine generals. With a population of over 10 million, this was the true imperial city. There are 360 royal cities under the jurisdiction of the royal court. Fang Ping's heart skipped a beat. There were at least 360 rank 9 powerhouses. They were formidable indeed. A royal city with a population of 10 million would have to have a population of at least 6 billion. Commander Mu, he continued, under the royal city, there are millions of people and high-ranked powerhouses keeping watch. That's the capital city. There were over 1,000 capital cities under the imperial court's jurisdiction. The other small cities are not included in the ranks of the large cities. They are under the jurisdiction of the various capital cities and royal cities. Fang Ping cursed in his heart. Zhang Peng's words were indeed unreliable. More than 1,000 capital cities. There were at least 1 billion people. The population of the capital cities was at least 5 billion, and this did not include the small cities and scattered villages and towns. There was also the imperial city, which probably had even more people. Based on the calculations, the population should at least double. The ratio of the rural population to the urban population should be about 1-to-1, right? 10 billion. Just the Sky Plant Royal Court alone had a population of over 10 billion. Zhang Peng actually said that the entire Forbidden Land only had a population of about 10 billion. What nonsense! Of the four great royal courts, the Monster Plant Court and the Monster Life Royal Court, were all human martial artists, so the two royal courts should be about the same. That would be 20 billion. Did he include dynasty? Was divine sect included? If he didn't count, there were so many empires and sects. At a rough estimate, the population of the Forbidden Zone was at least 30 billion. 10 billion, 30 billion. It didn't sound like there was much of a difference, but the number of people multiplied by several times. The more people there were, the more experts there would be. Fong Ping estimated conservatively that there were no less than 500 rank 9s in the Monster Plant's royal court. As for rank 7 and 8, perhaps it could reach the level of 10,000 people. 108 outer regions, more than 1,000 cities. Not counting the demons, there are more than 1,000 rank 9 city lords. There won't be fewer rank 9s in the restricted area than in the outer domain. There will only be more. It's normal for there to be more than 500 rank 9s in the Monster Plant Royal Court. Fong Ping felt extremely helpless at the thought of this. The difference was huge. On the human side, there were more than 200 people on the rank 9 powerhouse ranking list, including those from the Holy Lands, and those who weren't on the list. He could count them as 300. But what about the catacombs? In the Forbidden Zone and outer regions, the catacombs' human rank 9 had at least more than 2,000 people. Excluding the demons, if he counted them, there would be at least 4,000 to 5,000. No wonder those fellows in the Forbidden Zone did not feel much when a few rank 9s died. On Tiannan's side, there were a lot of rank 9s who died in battle. It was the same for the Forbidden Catacombs. In the end, those true king powerhouses did not seem to care too much. The number of rank 9 powerhouses was more than the human rank 7, 8, and 9 put together. Rank 9s are really everywhere. Fong Ping calculated in his heart. Then he felt relieved. The area of the Forbidden Zone was too big. It was comparable to the size of 600 Sino Nation. Sino Nation had accumulated 40 to 50 rank 9s for 100 years. If the Forbidden Zone was calculated according to the area, then there should be tens of thousands of rank 9 powerhouses. If he calculated according to the time Sino Nation had accumulated for 100 years, the other side had accumulated for almost 1,000 years. If it was multiplied by 10 times, then there should be tens of thousands of rank 9s. Now that he calculated, Fong Ping felt disdain in his heart. So weak, he did not care about the population base. The catacombs was indeed quite weak. The cultivation environment was so good. The place was so big. After such a long time, there were actually only a few thousand rank 9s. It would be strange if they were not weak. Before this, he thought that it was a lot. Now, it seemed that the catacombs people were really useless. While Fong Ping was disdainful, Commander Mu, he did not know what he was thinking. He continued, "This time, when you enter Divine Land, you will gather with geniuses from other territories. The royal court does not prohibit you from entering dynasty or sections. You can even join some royal city. Originally, the one who will receive you will only be a commander-level martial artist. This time, the two highnesses have come to the 7 southern territory. It is also your blessing. If you are lucky, you may be able to enter the royal city. After you pass Imperial Sea Mountain, you must think carefully about where to go. Dynasty and divine sect may not be better than royal city. Divine sect may not be stronger than some small and medium-sized sects. Because if you go to divine sect, you may only be servants. If you go to dynasty, you may be conscripted into the army and become soldiers. It is up to you. Also, now that the royal court has established Dynasty College. If you are lucky, you may be able to enter Dynasty College. Fong Ping's eyes moved slightly. Li Yi seemed to have seen Li Yi, who had been silent all this while. She said playfully, "Others may not know, but Monster Sunflower City should know. The opponent you will be facing is from an academy called MCMAU. Academy. This is also the martial arts cultivation place that my father has been preparing in recent years. Academies are very similar to sects, but they are not very similar. In sects, it is taught by master and disciple. Each person only teaches one path, and each person only respects one master. In the academy, the master can be different. If you have the ability, you can have countless masters. The academy teachers have no right to order you. You only have to listen to the royal court's orders." Fong Ping's heart skipped a beat. Was the royal lord cultivating his own people? This was his first thought. Academies sounded like they were reforming and learning from humans. In reality, Fong Ping felt that it was more like the royal lord was collecting power and cultivating his own henchmen. The royal court was too big. There were too many true kings. Those people from Divine Sect, Dynasty, and even people from Royal City and Capital City were too far away from the royal lord. They might not listen to the royal lord. The appearance of the academies was probably to recruit those genius martial artists and let them be used by the royal lord. Fong Ping was thinking about this. Beside him, Feng Yesheng said lightly, "It's not just Dynasty Academy. In recent years, many academies have appeared in the royal city. My Feng family has also established an academy, recruiting genius martial artists from Divine Land and various regions. My ancestor is a true king powerhouse. Sometimes he enters the academy to preach. Of course, trash can't enter the academy either." As soon as these words were said, everyone was extremely tempted. True king preaching? Martial artists did not care much about Tao, but that was only for those below rank 9. When they reached rank 9, if they wanted to walk out of their own Tao of origin, they must have some understanding in this aspect. At this stage, many people were actually at a loss. Even Wu Quishan, at peak rank 8, was at a loss in this aspect. He felt that he could not walk out of his own path. It was only after observing Rose City Lord's Tao of origin that he found his own path. A true king powerhouse had great foresight. Just a few words of advice might be able to help people gain something. Although it was not as effective as observing someone else's Tao of origin, for ordinary martial artists, a true king's preaching would be effective wherever they went to observe the Tao of origin. Everyone present was a prodigy martial artist from the 7 southern regions. Who did not have some ambition? Would rank 8 be enough to satisfy these people? Not necessarily. When they reached rank 9, it would be completely different with a true king watching over them, and without one. Beside him, Li Yi did not seem to care too much about this. Fong Ping stared at his fingers. The fingers that were originally stretching naturally now seemed to be curled up slightly. This fellow seems like he might not be as indifferent as he appears. Fong Ping's heart stirred slightly. If Li Yi were to flip out and be dissatisfied now, he would really think that this fellow was careless and a little useless. However, Li Yi did not utter a word. Instead, it reminded Fong Ping of a saying, "A dog that bites does not bark." Li Yi's skills were not up to par yet. According to Fong Ping's thinking, since Feng Yesheng was acting arrogant and despotic, this was the time to lose his temper. Feng Yesheng was obviously snatching him away. "You're still too inexperienced. You can only fool Feng Extermination a little." Fong Ping had not spoken all this while, but now he had a better understanding of the Monster Plant's royal court. The Monster Plant's royal court was vast and boundless. There were also countless experts. It was not only the catacombs humans. The monster plants royal court called themselves the sky plants royal court, and they were also related to the monster plants demon clan. Many cities had demonic plants rooted in them. It was different from the outer realm where the monster plant clan had monster plants. Meanwhile, in the restricted areas, this wasn't the case. Only some cities like this. These monster plants were not under the jurisdiction of the monster plant royal court, but belonged to the guardian royal court. From Fong Ping's perspective, the guardian royal court was just a bunch of domesticated demons. In order to give himself some autonomy, they created a royal court to show their existence. The various great king cities had quite a bit of autonomy. They only needed to pay tribute to the royal court every year. Dynasty was not included in the 360 royal cities under the palace's jurisdiction. Dynasty had its own territory, but that included divine sect. The existence of the sects depended on the royal court. However, the royal cities near these sects would be taken over by the powerhouses of these sections. Not only that, some true king powerhouses also had their own royal territory. The so-called royal territory was a division of some territories for those true king powerhouses who had not established dynasties and divine sects. These people did not establish dynasties, but they still needed their own territories to support their clansmen or disciples. Hence, in the royal court, these true kings were divided into royal territories. Some true king territories were not small, covering more than 10 royal cities. In the royal court, they were nominally under the orders of the royal court, but in reality, it was still the true king who had the final say. In essence, there was not much difference between them and dynasty. If there was a difference, it was probably in name. One was a subsidiary dynasty. Although it was a subsidiary, its status was actually equal to the royal court. The other was directly under the royal court. Logically speaking, the royal court could appoint the royal city's city lord at will, but dynasty could not. The royal court could not interfere with the other party's affairs. There was another point. The people of dynasty could not inherit the position of king lord. However, the people of the royal court could, and so could the people of divine sects. Some true kings did not establish dynasties because they were afraid of trouble. Some had their eyes on the position of king lord, like Maple King. Commander Mu, he did not say this out loud, but Fong Ping understood what he meant. At the end, Li Yi suddenly laughed and said, "Speaking of which, some things in the land of rebirth are quite interesting. Before this, the royal court had never made a ranking. However, a few days ago, the True King Palace requested the royal court to make a ranking of high-ranked martial artists. Everyone strive to enter commander level as soon as possible. If you can enter the ranking, even if you are a commander level, you can also become a city lord. You should know that the prosperity of a city is comparable to the outer royal city. In the outer royal court, how can a commander-level city lord be a city lord? However, in the royal court, if you can enter the ranking, becoming a city lord is a piece of cake. When that time comes, if your family wants to enter the royal court, there will be no more restrictions. There are also a few places for the city lord every year. Some of you have family and want to jump out of the outer royal court. This is your chance." Beside her, Feng Mieshing sneered. "Li Yi, you're overestimating them." Li Yi smiled. "I'm just saying, maybe someone can enter." Feng Mieshing snorted and said lightly, "There are 1,000 people in the commander-level ranking. In the royal court, there are more than 10,000 commander-level martial artists. This is only the Sky Plant Royal Court. This time, the ranking was made by the 4 royal courts together. In the 4 royal courts, the demons are stronger than us in the commander level. Humans and demons, there are no less than 50,000 commander-level powerhouses. It's not that simple." Fong Ping felt that he had gained some information again. humans and demons, there were only 50,000 rank 7. That was not a lot. According to the ratio of 10 to 1, there were only 5,000 rank 8. According to the ratio of 10 to 1, there were even fewer rank 9. However, it was still the same saying, the accumulation of time. A rank 9 lived longer than a rank 8, and a rank 8 lived longer than a rank 7. Among the high ranks, rank 7 lived the shortest. Without a golden body, the flesh would still decay. At most, they could live for 300 years. On the other hand, it was not difficult for a rank 8 to live for more than 500 years. If not for accidental deaths, the number of deaths would be higher than this ratio. While Fong Ping was memorizing this information, Li Yi smiled and said, "That's true. Even you, Miexing, have not entered. It is indeed difficult for them." Feng Miexing's expression was ugly. His gaze was sinister as he said coldly, "That's because I have just entered the commander level not long ago. Right now, I am only a middle stage commander. Li Yi, on the other hand, you have been a peak commander for some years, right? If you have not entered, how can I enter the ranking?" Li Yi seemed a little arrogant at this moment. She laughed loudly and said, "I did not enter the ranking because there is no need for this. There is no need for me to prove anything. Feng Miexing, on the other hand, you were defeated in the king's battleground previously. You need this more." Seeing that Feng Miexing was about to lose his temper, Li Yi changed the topic and said with a smile, "Feng Miexing, if Fong Ping came to God Land with his ability, what do you think?" Fong Ping. Feng Miexing's expression was cold. After a while, he said slowly, "I heard that he has already entered the venerable realm. If he is still a venerable, he is not qualified to enter the ranking. However, he has many tricks up his sleeves. If he is a commander, perhaps he can enter the bottom of the ranking." "The bottom of the ranking?" Li Yi said playfully. "I heard that he was ranked first in the land of rebirth. Feng Miexing, you have underestimated him, haven't you?" Feng Miexing snorted softly. He was only able to kill a venerable with the cooperation of many people. "It can't be. I heard that he entered first because he killed the 9 cities' gods, General Li Yi." Feng Miexing's expression changed drastically. He said coldly, "Some things cannot be said recklessly. Uncle King's death in battle was not caused by Fong Ping. He died in the hands of King Gu's son." Li Yi laughed loudly. "Don't be angry. I heard it from others. I was not at the scene. How would I know the truth? However, I am quite interested in Fong Ping. It's a pity that I did not meet him this time. The true King's Highness has issued an order to kill Fong Ping on sight. It's a pity that he does not dare to enter the Outland now. He does not dare to go to the King's battleground either. I have no chance to meet him." Feng Miexing sneered. "He can't hide for long. If he doesn't enter Godland now, when the war starts, he will be killed in the land of rebirth sooner or later. That day at the King's battleground, if Ji Yao had not interfered, he would have been killed long ago." Beside him, Fong Ping was mentally exhausted. "Boast. Continue boasting. It's lucky that I'm here. Otherwise, no one would know that you're boasting. Kill me long ago? If I had not met you, I would have killed you long ago. You're so scared that you wet your pants. When I killed Feng Qing, this guy ran away. How could he have a chance to speak now? I didn't hide. I'm right under your nose." Fong Ping was pleased. "Look, you hate me so much. I'm right in front of you. Are you convinced? If not for the big plan, Fong Ping could have killed him right now. Although there were 2 rank 8s here, one of them looked like a rank 8 rank 3, and the other a rank 8 rank 5. The rank 8 rank 5 was controlling the palace. The rank 8 rank 3 could not stop Fong Ping. If Fong Ping killed Feng Mieshing instantly, it would not be a problem for him to escape. That's good too. Even a piece of trash like you can look down on me. It's good to spread the news. Who knows, the other people in the restricted area might really believe it and think that I'm not even as good as Feng Mieshing. It's better for them to look down on me. While everyone was talking, Imperial Sea Mountain arrived. The rank 8 powerhouse kept the palace. Everyone landed on the ground. Although everyone lived in the Outland, there were not many who had actually seen Imperial Sea Mountain. Beside Fong Ping, Hua Beirong was shocked. She murmured, "Is this Imperial Sea Mountain? It's spectacular." Just like the first time Fong Ping saw Imperial Sea Mountain, everyone present was extremely shocked. It was not that they had never seen mountains before. However, they had never seen this kind of huge, endless mountain with no end in sight. Beside him, Commander Mu, he said proudly, "Even a true king can't cross Imperial Sea Mountain without His Highness's guidance. Even if you make it to Imperial Sea Mountain, don't even think about entering Godland for the rest of your lives." This time, a peak rank 6 martial artist in the crowd whispered, "Commander Mu, rumor has it that Imperial Sea Mountain was built to defend against the Forbidden Sea. Is the rumor true?" Mu frowned slightly. In front, Li Yi, who was walking toward the Grand Canyon, said lazily, "It's probably true. No one knows if it's true or not. The Forbidden Sea is indeed very dangerous. It also has the tendency to invade the Outland. However, after so many years, the demons in the Forbidden Sea have not come ashore, nor have they continued to expand. Perhaps it's already fixed. Moreover, even if they invade, it's nothing. There are countless powerhouses in Godland. How many true king demons are there in the Forbidden Sea?" As Li Yi spoke, she smiled faintly. "It's only because of the invasion of the Land of Rebirth powerhouses in recent years. Otherwise, the royal court would have gone to the Forbidden Sea a long time ago. I heard that there are countless treasures in the Forbidden Sea." As Li Yi spoke, Feng Mieshing looked disdainful. This fellow wanted to boast about his old man again. Going to the Forbidden Sea? Back then, the royal lord had suggested this. The prerequisite was to defeat the true king of the Land of Rebirth. However, very few true monarchs responded. Not only did they wage war against the Land of Rebirth's true king, they even wanted to conquer the Forbidden Sea during the era of the two kings. When the Imperial Sea Mountain was established, even the two kings were extremely vigilant towards the Forbidden Sea. How could the Forbidden Sea be conquered so easily? No one knew how many demons there were in the sea. It wasn't that the imperial court hadn't explored the Forbidden Sea before. Although many places in the outer region had been sealed and true monarchs couldn't enter or leave, the Forbidden Sea was still a place that had been sealed. But the 108 domains were not all. There was a section of the Imperial Sea Mountain that led directly to the Forbidden Sea. The Forbidden Zone was surrounded by the Imperial Sea Mountain and was roughly oval in shape. Outside the Imperial Sea Mountain was the 108 outer domains. Outside the 108 outer domains, there was a region without land, which was the Forbidden Sea. The Monster Plant Royal Court also had an area connected to this sea. It wasn't that there weren't any experts who went to explore the Forbidden Sea, but in the end they either died or were injured. Even the true monarchs were extremely vigilant and didn't dare to rashly go out to sea. It was not true that the Lord wanted to conquer the Forbidden Sea, but it was true that he wanted to seize the opportunity to break the blockade of the Land of Rebirth. As they spoke, they arrived at the Royal Sea Mountain. It was a grand canyon that was similar to the Forbidden Catacombs. In the canyon's passageway, an old man who looked like a fossil opened his eyes abruptly. Feng Miesheng glanced at him and sneered. "What are you looking at? Open the passageway." A god general-level martial artist dares to block the passageway. If not for the fact that I can't be bothered, I would have killed you long ago. You've got guts." The old man did not speak. He glanced at Fong Ping, and the rest got up slowly and walked towards the passageway's boundary wall. This was the powerhouse who was overseeing the human side. The 7 Southern Territory did not have absolute monarch overseeing it. There was only this old man. The old man did not exist to stop the true king from entering. His only purpose in overseeing this place was to observe the movements of the people from the Forbidden Zone. If the people from the Forbidden Zone went to the outer domain cities, he would not care. However, if they went to the bounded boundaries, he would immediately think of a way to inform the top powerhouses. If the people from the Forbidden Zone went to the bounded boundaries, it usually meant that they had obtained the token and wanted to try to enter. When that happened, Sino Nation would also send people in to stop them. As for being mocked by Feng Miesheng, the old man did not care. There were no top powerhouses here. Although he was a rank 9 powerhouse, he could not attack the people from the Forbidden Zone recklessly, especially such an important figure. Otherwise, it would easily cause unforeseen events. The old man began to open the passageway. Feng Miesheng was still sneering. He looked at Fong Ping and the rest and said, "When the land of Rebirth's true king is defeated in the future, these people will definitely die. These fellows are just watchdogs. They may be God general-level martial artists, but they are nothing." The old man said nothing. On Feng Miesheng's side, the 2 rank 8 martial artists were extremely vigilant, not daring to be careless. After all, this person was a god general. If he attacked suddenly without caring about anything else, it would be very dangerous. In the crowd, Fong Ping glanced at the old man. He did not know him. He was not familiar with him. He did not even know his name. However, the other party had overseen this place for God knows how many years, enduring loneliness. Now, even when he was scolded by someone like Feng Miesheng, he did not say a word and endured the humiliation. Fong Ping suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. The old man was not a top powerhouse. If Feng Miesheng dared to scold him, only death awaited him. However, the old man was not, so he could only endure everything. Overseeing this place was actually the most dangerous. If the true king crossed borders, these people would be the first to die. The true king of the catacombs might not necessarily follow the rules. If the human powerhouses did not come to help in time, then these martial artists guarding the passageways would die without a doubt. Sino Nation only has a total of 15 top powerhouses. The 3 ministers are often on the ground. 12 top powerhouses guarding 24 passageways. 1 person needs to guard 2 places. No wonder they feel so pressured. Fong Ping sighed in his heart. It was not easy for 1 person to guard 10,000 miles. They had to guard day and night. If they were not careful, a true king would enter. Once they entered, it would be a massacre. At the very least, the human cities in the outer region would be destroyed. The pressure these top powerhouses faced was probably incomparably huge. It was still all right in the past, when many passageways were not opened. When they entered, the passageways were almost all opened. The top powerhouses were far from enough. If I want to truly guard the Sino Nation area, I need at least 24 top powerhouses. There's still 1 passageway that hasn't been opened. Only 25 top powerhouses will be enough. He was short of 10 people. In the past 100 years, Sino Nation had only produced 3 desperate realm powerhouses. At this rate, they would need at least 300 years. And 300 years. Could the catacombs still give humans 300 years? They could not wait any longer. While Fong Ping was thinking about these, the world wall had already opened. Feng Miesheng and the rest entered the world wall carelessly. Before they entered, They were also unkind to the old man, laughing and scolding him constantly. Fong Ping followed them quietly, not looking at the old man. Until they entered the passageway on the other side of the world wall, Fong Ping turned back to take a look. Although he could no longer see the old man in front of him, Fong Ping seemed to be able to see him. His figure was not tall, but it was like an ancient demon holding up this piece of heaven and earth. Wait a little longer. After a few years, I can go home. I don't have to guard here for countless years anymore. Magic City Catacombs had been opened for 61 years. Perhaps the old man had been guarding here for 61 years, or even earlier. Perhaps the old man was already guarding here before the catacombs opened. Ever since Mount Royal Sea, he had never left the catacombs. No matter how the wind and rain battered him, he had never left Fong Ping's gaze turned to Feng Mieshing in front of him. This guy, he would kill him sooner or later. Initially, this idiot was so stupid that he did not have much intention to kill him. It would be a good thing if this idiot really became the lord of the royal court. However, this guy just had to talk. If Fong Ping did not kill him, he would feel suffocated. Chapter 723. After exiting Mount Royal Sea, the palace reappeared. Feng Mieshing and the others led the group and sped forward. On the way, Commander Mu, he continued to introduce, we're going to the Qingyang capital city to rendezvous next. When we get there, you can freely choose where to go. Of course, if you're willing to be wandering warriors, that's up to you. The premise is that you can survive. Commander Mu, he sneered. Could 50 middle-ranked martial artists survive within the borders of the royal court? Perhaps he could, but he definitely wouldn't be able to live a satisfactory life. There were too many high-ranked powerhouses here. You're just a wandering martial artist. Where are you going to find resources to cultivate? As he spoke, the rank 8 powerhouse controlling the palace suddenly paused, then said loudly, Your Highness Ji Yao, we're just passing by. We'll leave immediately. Come out. In front of them, a group of people flew through the air, blocking the way to the palace. Behind the Magic City Catacombs was not the Monster Plant's royal court's territory, but the Monster Life royal courts. Magic City's catacombs were under the jurisdiction of the Green Wolf King. From this, it could be seen which palace was bordering it. Up ahead, Ji Yao seemed to be waiting for them. Fong Ping was surprised to hear Ji Yao's voice. A gathering of old acquaintances. So fast, he had thought that he might not be able to meet Ji Yao this time. After all, she was from the Demon Life Royal Court. As he thought about it, Li Yi and Feng Mieshing stood up and walked out of the palace. Fong Ping and the others did not follow him out. Instead, they walked to the palace's wide-open door. In front of them, Ji Yao had brought quite a number of powerhouses with her. She swept a glance at Li Yi and the other man, saying coldly, Did you meet Fong Ping when you went to the 7 Southern Territory this time? Fong Ping felt helpless. You miss me that much? Li Yi laughed. Ji Yao, Fong Ping wouldn't dare show his face. Besides, he wouldn't dare to show himself if I'm there. Humph. Ji Yao's face was filled with disdain. Who do you think you are? If it wasn't for the fact that your father dominated the region, do you think you're worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as me? As for Fong Ping being afraid of Li Yi, that was even more ridiculous. Ji Yao couldn't be bothered with him. She asked, Has anyone from Monster Sunflower City come? Li Yi looked at Fong Ping. Fong Ping hurriedly walked out, treading the air. With a humble expression, he cupped his fists and said, General Kuei Ming greets you, sir. You're from Monster Sunflower City. My father is the commander of Monster Sunflower City's Imperial Guards. Have you seen Fong Ping before? Fong Ping said hurriedly, I haven't seen him before, but my father and Fong Ping have fought before, so I've heard of him. You fought before. Ji Yao's gaze flickered slightly, and she continued to ask, "Your Heaven Plant's lineage has fought with MCMAU many times, so you should have some understanding of MCMAU. Let me ask you, how much do you know about Fang Ping's deeds? Did he have any relatives? Did he enter the 7 southern regions? I heard that Monsterwood City was breached by MCMAU, and the main culprit was Fang Ping. Do you know how strong he was that day, and what was so special about him? Also, Monsterwood City has been forcibly occupied by MCMAU. Is there anyone close to Fang Ping among them now?" This woman had asked so many questions in a row, but Fang Ping's heart was slightly moved. Zhao Xingwu had escaped into the restricted area. Logically speaking, Zhao Xingwu still knew him quite well, and he also knew MCMAU very well. If he wanted to know more about himself, Zhao Xingwu knew a lot. Moreover, the evil sect had colluded with the catacombs, so he should have some information. Ji Yao asked herself, was it because Zhao Xingwu did not say anything, or was it because the monster plant's royal court did not give her a chance? Fang Ping did not answer, but glanced at Li Yi. Li Yi looked satisfied, smiling. "Since Her Highness Ji Yao has asked, tell her everything you know." "Yes," Fang Ping said quickly. "I don't know much about Fang Ping, but I've heard some rumors. I haven't heard that he has relatives who entered the 7 southern regions, but MCMAU's longevity sword is Fang Ping's teacher, and he's in the 7 southern regions now. Last night, longevity's sword even attacked Monster Sunflower City. According to my father, during the battle in Monsterwood City that day, Fang Ping's strength was average, but he had an indestructible space cast by the golden imperishable substance, which could trap a beginner-stage venerable powerhouse for a moment. That day, my father broke through the space, but he was surrounded and killed by MCMU powerhouses, a space cast by imperishable substance." Ji Yao's expression changed slightly. She really did not know much about this. The last time she met Fang Ping was in the Forbidden Catacombs. At that time, Fang Ping's golden house was broken by someone in the Shishan Catacombs, so he did not reveal this. In the Shishan Catacombs, all the catacombs powerhouses who saw it were dead, so naturally no one knew. However, Fang Ping had revealed it once during the battle at Sky Gate. Many people knew about this. Ji Yao said in a low voice, "Can he trap a beginner-stage, venerable martial artist?" Fang Ping said hurriedly, "That's right. My father is a middle-stage, venerable martial artist, so he could break through the space that day. I'm afraid a beginner-stage, venerable would be trapped for a moment." What was his strength at that time? Suspected to be a venerable, Fang Ping explained, "My father said that it's hard to distinguish the other party's strength. At first, he was only a commander level, but he had a lot of imperishable substance, and he forged an indestructible body." Ji Yao knew about this. She pondered and said, "If that's the case, now that he has a breakthrough, I'm afraid he can trap a middle stage or even an upper stage venerable martial artist." Previously in the Forbidden Catacombs, Fang Ping's strength was also extremely erratic, but it was true that he was stronger than her. However, at that time, she did not see the Golden House, so Fang Ping could not catch up to her. Thinking of this, Ji Yao asked again, "Are you sure he doesn't have relatives in the 7 southern territory?" Fang Ping's heart was filled with hatred. Was this woman thinking about his family? He would kill her sooner or later. "I don't think so. Monster Sunflower City has not been involved in the war for a long time. I haven't heard that Fang Ping has relatives in the 7 southern territory. As for Longevity Sword, I heard that he has found the Myriad Dao Unification Cultivation Method. Do you know if it's true or not?" Fang Ping hurriedly said, "I don't know about this." Beside him, Li Yi smiled and said, "It's probably true. When Longevity Sword fought before, and last night there were no signs of his vitality draining, so the news should be accurate." Ji Yao's expression was uncertain. She said in a low voice, Li Yi, let's go to the 7 Southern Territory again. Let the outlying cities join forces and kill Longevity's sword. I don't believe that Fang Ping will still hide after we kill Longevity's sword. Ji Yao, Li Yi said sheepishly, those city lords in the outlying cities might not listen to me. I still need my father's permission to do this. Useless. Ji Yao scolded. She looked at Feng Mieshing with an unfriendly expression and said coldly, You're also useless. Those 2 pieces of trash actually let go of the Longevity sword and the Snake King. If not for that, how could Fang Ping have escaped? Fang Ping was not the only one who had escaped. In order to kill Fang Ping, a true king from the True King Hall had fallen. Ji Yao's days had not been easy. Although the alliance with the Sky Plant's royal court was the idea of the True King Hall's true king, she was also the one who facilitated it. In the end, a true king had fallen. After the incident, the royal court was shaken, and she had suffered a lot. If not for her father's breakthrough to true king and her grandfather's position as the hall master, she might have been buried with him. The death of a true king powerhouse was not a small matter. It was also because of this that Ji Yao hated Fang Ping even more. It had become an inner demon. She would not be satisfied if she did not kill Fang Ping. Knowing that Feng Mieshing and the rest had gone out to the outlying cities today, and had even brought back people from Monster Sunflower City, who had fought against MCMAU head-on, Ji Yao immediately brought people to stop them and ask. Being scolded by Ji Yao, Li Yi laughed dryly and did not reply. Feng Mieshing, on the other hand, snorted. Don't talk about us. The last time you were in the 18 Southern Territory, didn't you also? Feng Mieshing. Ji Yao's gaze was cold and fierce. She shouted, Don't think that I don't dare to kill you. This time, King Feng was the leader, but it was Black Jade's grandfather who died. Why wasn't true King Blue Moon the one who died? Ji Yao, how dare you? Are you questioning a true king? Feng Mieshing was furious. Beside him, Li Yi also said hurriedly, Ji Yao, you can't say such things. I'm saying such things. Ji Yao gritted her teeth. The Heavenly Plant's royal court and the Land of Rebirth have been at war for many years. If Warlord wants to kill someone, he should kill true King Blue Moon. In the end, the one who died was Black Jade's grandfather. For so many years, the Heavenly Plant's royal court has not lost a true king. The first time the Destiny Royal Court joined the war, they lost a true king powerhouse. Ji Yao was not the only one who was dissatisfied. The entire Destiny Royal Court was dissatisfied. How many years had the Heavenly Plant's royal court and humans been at war? After so many years, it was not that a true king had not died, but at least not in the past 100 years. 100 years ago, there had been. Fang Ping had always thought that the Heavenly King Suppressing King had only killed one desperate realm monster beast. He did not know that a long time ago, the Heavenly King Suppressing King had also killed a true king powerhouse. But even so, that was a long time ago. Both sides had been at war for hundreds of years, and the Heavenly Plant's royal court had lost a true king. The first time the Destiny Royal Court fought, their goal was to restrain the other party, but in the end, they lost a true king. It was unbelievable. Ji Yao was angry, but Fang Ping was overjoyed. If that was the case, the aftermath was still there. His main purpose in coming to the restricted area this time was not to earn money, but to obtain some information and disrupt the alliance between the two royal courts. That was his main purpose. Ji Yao's indignant look seemed to make the entire Monster Life royal court uncomfortable. Do I have to pretend to be Ji Yao and kill Feng Mia and Li Yi? Fang Ping calculated in his heart. Pretending to be Feng Mia and killing Ji Yao was not very reliable. Feng Mia was useless. He alone might not be able to kill Ji Yao, but pretending to be Ji Yao and killing Feng Mia, he had some confidence. The key is to pretend to be a woman. Feng Ping shuddered in his heart. He was not that kind of person, but if the situation allowed it, it might not be impossible. Ji Yao was in the Monster Life Royal Court, while Feng Mia was in the Monster Plants Royal Court. The two royal courts were very far away from each other. No one would believe that he would run so far to someone else's royal court to kill someone important, no less. Thinking of this, Feng Ping looked around with his peripheral vision. Needless to say, now was actually an opportunity. If he made a move now, when these people met, Feng Ping sighed in his heart. What a pity! There were still 2 rank 8s here. Ji Yao's side was even stronger. There were 3 rank 8s, and there seemed to be a weak rank 9. Feng Ping was not too sure. The other Zora was not too strong, but it should be a rank 9. He could not kill so many people. If he had Old Man Li's ability, Feng Ping could attack now, kill these people, pretend to be one of them, and escape in the catacombs. It might trigger a war between the 2 royal courts. After all, there were 2 descendants of the royal court masters here, as well as Feng Mia, the descendant of a true king. Ji Yao was unhappy. Feng Mia was extremely unhappy too. He growled, "Ji Yao, are you saying that it's the king ancestor's fault? The king ancestor wants to kill Feng Ping more than anyone else." However, Mysterious Jade, True Monarch's unexpected death in battle, was also out of the king ancestor's expectations. If not, Martial King and Pluto would not have left Mount Royal Sea. Ji Yao hated it. He hated it too, if it was not for Mysterious Jade, True Monarch's death in battle, which caused the True Kings in Destiny Royal Court to waver and eventually provoked the Life King and Heavenly King to fight across the air. The Pluto would not have left so quickly. If he did not go out, the Pope of the Land of Rebirth would not have to hide too much. He might have already killed Feng Ping. When Zhao Xingwu arrived at the Imperial City, although he did not say much, some of the things that happened that day were still very clear. They could not kill Feng Ping that day. On one hand, something happened in the 7 Southern Territory, causing 2 powerhouses to leave. On the other hand, Mysterious Jade, True Monarch's death caused Martial King and Pluto to leave Mount Royal Sea one after another. The Pope dared not show up, which allowed Feng Ping to survive. Feng Miesheng, are you blaming Grandpa Mysterious Jade for not being strong enough and dragging you guys down? I don't dare to question a true king. Besides, Mysterious Jade, True Monarch, has already fallen. Both of them were very angry. Feng Ping, who was at the side, was muttering in his heart, "What's with the nonsense? Let's fight." Both of them were idiots. It would be best if they fought. Feng Miesheng was stupid. Ji Yao was not that smart either. Their identities were important. If one of them died, the cooperation between the 2 royal courts would be in big trouble. They were stupid, but someone seemed to be even more stupid. In the crowd, Li Yi did not seem to care about their argument. When their anger reached its peak, Li Yi suddenly laughed and said, "Ji Yao, the last time you went to the Imperial City, we still have a lot of places that we haven't visited. Why don't we find a time to visit again? After a few days, the Protector's holy fruit will ripen. Why don't we go and take a look together?" Ji Yao's expression was cold. This idiot! She still had the mood to talk about this at a time like this? Ji Yao cursed in her heart. Feng Miesheng's expression was also unfriendly. Feng Ping, on the other hand, felt a chill in his heart. Good Lord, pretending to be stupid and deliberately making a joke to make these 2 people stop fighting? Feng Ping was not the only one who thought this way. In the crowd, the rank 9 martial artists behind Ji Yao also glanced at Li Yi, thinking about something. They could not fight. With him here, it was impossible for both parties to fight. It would be troublesome if something happened to either of them. However, it was not easy to deal with two descendants of the true king arguing and getting angry. Now, with a single sentence from Li Yi, both parties had forgotten about what happened before. He did not need to intervene anymore. Ji Yao did not care about Feng Miesheng anymore. Her eyes were cold and stern as she said, "In a few days, I really have to make a trip to Sky Plant City. When the holy fruit ripens, you two good-for-nothings won't have the chance to enjoy it, but I can still enjoy it. Also, Feng Miesheng, if you dare to mention the marriage again, I will definitely kill you. A good-for-nothing like you is worthy of a marriage alliance with me? In the land of the King Wars, you surrounded Jiang Hao for many days, but you were beaten to the point of abandoning your armor. You are not even as good as Feng Qin. Feng Qin killed Jiang Hao in the land of the King Wars and forced him to flee. Today, you were beaten to the point of abandoning your armor. What a disgrace! Ji Yao really looked down on Feng Miesheng, a complete good-for-nothing, when Feng Qin was alive. Although he did not manage to kill Jiang Hao, at least he chased Jiang Hao until he was on the run. Now, Feng Qin was dead. Feng Miesheng had taken over Feng Qin's power. In the end, the tables were turned. Jiang Hao was chasing after them. Feng Miesheng's expression was livid. How could it be the same? When Feng Qin was alive, Jiang Hao was only an early stage rank, 7. After that, he was a middle stage rank, 7. But now, upper stage rank, 7. Once he completed honing a piece of skull, he would be a peak rank, 7. Back then, Feng Qin was already an upper stage rank, 7 martial artist. Now, he was considered not bad. With King Feng's support, he had entered middle stage rank, 7, but he was still not as good as Jiang Hao. His ability was not as good as the other party. There was a gap of a level. How could he kill Jiang Hao? Feng Miesheng's expression was dark. Not just me, you guys are the same. Humph, don't compare me with you. Jiang Hao doesn't have the guts to kill me. Feng Miesheng sneered. If you were not with that rank 8 monster, let's see if Jiang Hao would dare to kill you. These two were all talk and no action. Fang Ping was getting impatient listening to them. However, he had to maintain a respectful attitude. This woman, Ji Yao, was not done with her questions. He had to continue waiting. However, 2 words flashed across Fang Ping's mind. Holy fruit. What holy fruit? Lord Guardian. Monster plant guardian of the monster plant kingdom? Then it would at least be at true king level, right? The fruits born by rank 9 monster plants were already heaven-defying. A true king monster plant was about to bear fruits. Could he get some? Judging from Ji Yao's tone, it was difficult. Even Feng Miesheng and the rest did not seem to have a chance, but Ji Yao could. Fang Ping made up his mind. If that was the case, he would rob Ji Yao. The fruits of a true king monster plant would definitely be heaven-defying. Then I have to go to the Imperial City, lest I miss the opportunity. I can't stay in the catacombs for long. What kind of stupid school is this? There's no point in going there. I have to go to Feng Miesheng's side, or Li Yi's side, and be a qualified lackey. Li Yi asked me to guard the door for him earlier, but it's troublesome. This guy should be living in the Imperial Palace, right? Then, wouldn't that old fox from the Monster Plant Kingdom run into him any time? As for Feng Miesheng, the chances of running into a true king are not low either. They're not to be trifled with. Thoughts rose in Fang Ping's mind one by one. These two people's status was not low. It was easy for them to run into true king powerhouses. If this true king was really interested and suddenly probed him inch by inch, he would be in trouble. Very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Of course, a true king might not be that free. In the eyes of a true king, a person who was not even a high rank was not even comparable to an ant. If a human saw an ant, they might not be interested in skinning it and breaking its bones to see if it was male or female. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. These two people's status is high, and they know a lot of secrets. In other places, even if I stayed in the catacombs for the rest of my life, I might not know anything. Only by following these two fellows can I find out more. Fang Ping calculated in his heart. He already had a plan. He would not go anywhere. He would just follow these two fellows. Feng Miesheng was an idiot. He might not know a lot. Li Yi, on the other hand, might know a lot of things by pretending to be dumb. However, if he interacted with this kind of person for a long time, it was easy to arouse suspicion. I'll decide after seeing the situation. When Fang Ping was done thinking, Ji Yao and the rest were done with their verbal attacks. Ji Yao did not care about Fang Ping anymore. A rank 6 nobody was not worthy of her attention. She had only asked some questions earlier. Ji Yao did not block the way anymore. Feng Miesheng did not speak anymore. Li Yi, on the other hand, was reluctant to leave. Before she left, she said, Ji Yao, remember to tell me in advance when you're coming to Sky Plant City. I'll go and pick you up. Humph. Ji Yao let out a cold humph. Li Yi did not care. She entered the palace, still looking at her reluctantly, without Ji Yao's obstruction. The rest of the journey was smooth. The palace was extremely fast. Fang Ping sensed it. Its speed was probably close to half the speed of sound. In an instant, it had exceeded 1,000 li. This speed could not compare to the speed of a rank 8 or 9 powerhouse going all out. However, powerhouses would put a strain on their bodies when they were rushing. The advantage of the palace was that it did not put a strain on their bodies. They only needed to expend energy and mentality. 2 rank 8 powerhouses taking turns to control, it could maintain the best condition. Fang Ping estimated that it was about 10 a.m. in the morning when he left Mount Royal Sea. It was not until 5 p.m. that they arrived at their destination. The journey was close to 7,000 li. The restricted area was huge, terrifyingly huge. The place where they were previously should be the border area of the 2 royal courts. Qingyang Royal City was also in the border area of the Monster Plant's royal court. They still had to travel 7,000 li. We're here. Come down. Following the shouts of the few chieftains, Fang Ping and the others in the palace walked out one after another. What came into view was an incomparably huge city. In the center of the city, there was not a building like the city lord's mansion. Instead, there was a huge square. At this moment, many people were resting in the square. Seeing that the palace had landed, dozens of high-ranked powerhouses came over using flight step, followed by a series of greetings. Greetings, your highnesses. Fang Ping did not care about these people. He looked around and roughly understood that this was the gathering point for people from the outer domain. Many middle-ranked martial artists looked over nervously. At a rough glance, there were probably no less than 1,000 people. At this moment, there were still high-ranked powerhouses dragging some people over here one after another. These people did not have the treatment of the palace. They were all directly using flight step to drag those middle-ranked martial artists. Fang Ping even saw that many of them were injured. Perhaps it was because they had used flight step for a long time, their speed was extremely fast, and these people did not receive any protection. So their flesh was broken. Outer Domain 108. No, Outer Domain 107 have people from the Monster Plant Clan cities all come? Fang Ping calculated. If every outer domain had 50 people like Magic City's catacombs, that would be more than 5,000 people. In the restricted area, middle-ranked martial artists were really worthless. Fang Ping was still thinking when Feng Meisheng said lazily, make arrangements for the people from 7 Southern Territory. When everyone is here, Let the major forces come and pick people. Having said that, he turned his head to look at Fang Ping and the others, shouting, "All of you wait here obediently. If you go out and get killed, you'll just be asking for trouble." After throwing these words, these people left quickly. In the square, very soon, a group of armored martial artists walked over. The leader was a rank 7 powerhouse. He was incomparably dignified, scolding, "Why are you standing there foolishly? Martial artists from all regions, go to your own place and stay. You're not allowed to wander around. Wait for the major forces to recruit people tomorrow." Fang Ping glanced at them and found a more serious problem. "I'm illiterate. I can't read. Damn it, this was a little troublesome." He did not know the words of the catacombs. He could speak them, but humans had not made much progress in studying words. Outer Domain 108 seemed to have their own arrangements. The places they were at were different. Right now, there were about a dozen places that were still empty. Where should he go? Although Fang Ping was panicking inside, he looked calm on the surface. There were 50 people. What was there to be afraid of? He did not know them, but did these guys not know them either? He would just follow them. But this problem needs to be taken seriously. I can't read. I can't read some of the confidential documents I saw. I don't know the place either. What if I go the wrong way? This is troublesome. Fang Ping complained in his heart again. He had miscalculated. He did not think of this problem when he came. Fortunately, there was no written test. Otherwise, would he not be exposed immediately? Does that Kuei Ming guy know how to read? It would be great if he can't read. Fang Ping comforted himself. A rank 6 who could not read was just **T. He could only comfort himself. Please remember this book's original domain name. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor mobile version website. Chapter 724. Qingyang Royal City. In the city square, Fang Ping was illiterate, so he had no choice but to move with the others. Soon, they reached a corner in the northeast corner. The plaza was open air, and the people in the restricted area did not prepare any rooms for everyone to rest in. To a martial artist, the influence of the environment was nothing. Fang Ping and the others had just arrived when someone approached them from the side, carrying a large parcel in his arms. Unlike the others who were cold and aloof, this person looked much more amiable. His face was full of smiles, and he was dressed in a brocade robe. It seemed like his status was not low, and he did not come from some outer city. In the outskirts of the catacombs, some of the aristocrats in the royal city would wear brocade robes or something similar to silk. It was not made of ordinary cotton or silk, but something similar to a demon plant's product. On the other hand, the residents of the outer city wore much more ordinary clothes. As for the villages outside, many people would wear animal skin clothing. One could tell the identity of some people from their attire. Right now, Fang Ping was not wearing a brocade robe. Instead, he was wearing a set of expensive Royal City Imperial Guard armor. The man in the brocade robe was not old. He was full of smiles the moment he arrived. "Are you all from the 7 southern regions? Let me introduce myself. I'm from the 6 southern regions, a neighboring region. My name is Jin Yuhuai from Hibiscus City." Jin Yuhuai introduced for a while. He did not care about Fang Ping and the rest's vigilance and indifference. Very quickly, he smiled and said, "It's my first time coming to the palace. I don't know much about the other territories. Are there any land of rebirth martial artists over there?" Fang Ping's gaze flickered slightly. He quickly smiled and said, "Yes, do you have them over there too?" This was asking a question he already knew the answer to. Fang Ping knew where the 6 southern regions were. Dongwu Catacombs, 8 Southern Territories Donglin Catacombs, 9 Southern Territories Nanjiang Catacombs. Naturally, Fang Ping knew all these. However, He had never been to Dongwu Martial Arts University's catacombs. He did know an elite student from Dongwu Martial Arts University a long time ago. When he was doing a mission as a rank 1, he had met a student from Dongwu Martial Arts University, Hibiscus City. Fang Ping thought about it. It seemed to be the city at the forefront of the war with humans. He had never been to the Dongwu catacombs, but he had skimmed through the game Otherworld Invasion. This game was not bad. At least it gave people a general understanding of the catacombs. As soon as Fang Ping answered, Jin Yuhuai did not know if he was happy or disappointed. His gaze changed slightly. Very quickly, he smiled and said, "So there are resurrected martial artists in the 7 southern regions too." Resurrected martial artists are everywhere. Have all of you fought with the revived martial artists before? As soon as this was said, Hua Beirong also replied, "No, we haven't been fighting the martial artists who have been resurrected." This time, Jin Yuhuai revealed a joyful expression and hurriedly said with a smile, "Our Hibiscus City and the revived martial artists have been fighting for a long time. It's rare for us to meet in the imperial court. Since we have nothing to do, why don't we trade? I have a lot of rare items that can resurrect martial artists. They are very precious." As Jin Yuhuai spoke, he quickly opened his big package. The corner of Fang Ping's mouth twitched. "Everyone, do you see that? This is called the energy pill. It is an extremely rare treasure, although the energy is not too abundant, and our cultivation system is slightly different from the resurrected martial artists. The energy pill is still beneficial to us. Resurrected martial artists rarely carry these treasures. It's really too difficult to seize these treasures. Vitality pill." Hua Beirong laughed and said, "This is not considered a treasure. When we fought with the resurrected martial artists, some people also seized them. There shouldn't be many, right?" Jin Yuhuai said with a face full of smiles, "The resurrected martial artists view them as treasures. They don't bring many with them. Even if you have seized some, it will be very little. At critical moments, they will still destroy these, right?" Hua Beirong nodded. This was true. Monster Sunflower City had not fought many times with humans. It had not been long, and the few times they had been defeated, they had not really seized many vitality pills. Moreover, the vitality pills that martial artists carried were only used to replenish their vitality. Once the battle started, they would be used up very quickly. Unless they were killed instantly, these would be destroyed in the end. This vitality pill is effective for middle-level martial artists. It's even more rare. Jin Yuhuai's words were extravagant. Soon he smiled and said, "If everyone is interested, 10 rank, 9 life stones will do." "So expensive?" In the crowd, the others were also listening. When they heard this, they were speechless. 10 rank, 9 life stones. One had to know that a rank 8 descendant like the Red Alder could only receive 3 stones a month. Of course, coming to the restricted area this time, everyone would more or less bring some resources, and the quantity was not small. Everyone was carrying a big bag, and it was all good stuff. Jin Yuhuai smiled and said, "Rare things are expensive. This is a treasure for resurrected martial artists. 10 rank, 9 life stones is not considered expensive." Fang Ping's eyeballs almost popped out. Damn, he had met someone in the same industry. Big hoodwinker? In the catacombs, a life stone was almost calculated according to a caddy. 500 grams. That was worth 300 million. It was impossible for Fang Ping not to be familiar with the vitality pill in this guy's hand. It was considered the best of the vitality pills, a rank for vitality pill. Middle-rank vitality pills were actually very rare. This was because middle-ranked martial artists no longer relied on pills to cultivate, and the speed was relatively slow. A rank 4 vitality pill used to be worth millions. But now, with the increase of energy stones, and in order to promote martial arts among the people, the price of vitality pills had dropped greatly. Normal vitality pills were almost down to 10,000 each. As for rank 4, the value would not exceed 1 million. 1 million! 10 energy stones for 3 billion? The look in Fong Ping's eyes changed. Was he stupid? Why didn't he think of that? Was there anyone buying it? There was. Just as Jin Yuhuai announced the price, a peak rank 5 martial artist in the crowd asked curiously, "I don't think the energy in this pill is abundant. It's not even as good as a rank 7 life stone. 10 of them is too expensive. Is this helpful for our cultivation?" "Of course." Jin Yuhuai smiled and said, "This is called a vitality pill. It mainly helps resurrected martial artists cultivate their vitality force. It's slightly weaker than us, but it's still very helpful for us. For low-level martial artists, the truly precious pill is the bone-honing pill. It can speed up the process of honing bones. You can imagine how precious it is. We don't have this pill to help us hone our bones. However, this pill is too rare. Even if it's only effective for low-level martial artists, its value is not lower than this vitality pill. For us, the pill is more effective is called the 11 pill." As he spoke, Jin Yuhuai took out a pill and said with a smile, "This is it. It's very helpful for honing our internal organs, but this is expensive. It costs 30 rank, 9 life stones." "So expensive," everyone exclaimed. Fong Ping was stunned again. The 11 pill, F***CK, he had exchanged for this before. It was helpful for honing the internal organs. It was not cheap. It was 200 credits per pill, and this was before the credit system was reformed. At that time, 1 credit was 30,000. 200 credits were worth 6 million. It was too expensive, at least to Fong Ping at that time. However, after the credit system was reformed, some things dropped in price. The 11 pills seemed to have dropped in price too. Fong Ping did not pay much attention to it later because he did not use it anymore. Instead, he used the catacombs 100 honing fruit. This thing was more effective than the 11 pill. Even if it was 6,030 caddies of energy stones, was worth 9 billion. Fong Ping was really shocked. Was there an idiot who would buy it? It was 1,000-fold profit. Was there? No. However, at this moment, someone actually bargained. On Fong Ping's side, a rank 5 martial artist frowned and said, 30 is too expensive. I can consider 10. Fong Ping's fingers trembled. Your family owns a mine. You want to buy an 11 pill with 3 billion? You must be crazy. Even if most of these people were Powerhouse's descendants, 10 caddies of rank 9 energy stones was definitely not a small amount. It might be their share for a few months. In the end, they used a few months' share in exchange for a pill, but soon Fong Ping became thoughtful. The rarer something was, the greater its value. This saying was true. In the catacombs, energy stones were not considered scarce, at least for these Powerhouse's descendants. If they did not consume too much and their mineral veins could be regenerated, it was not too rare. The rank 8 Kue Luo had accumulated tens of thousands of caddies of energy stones in 100 years. Most of these people were children of aristocrats. This time, they had also brought a lot of wealth to the restricted area. Using 10 caddies of energy stones to exchange for a treasure they had probably never seen before, even if the effect was average, they might not feel like they were at a disadvantage. Everyone had the desire to seek novelty. This person bargained, but Jin Yuhuai looked troubled. He quickly shook his head and said, "That won't do. This is too rare. We got this from the dead body of a high-ranked powerhouse after we killed him. Many of our men died. 10 life stones can't be exchanged for that. Brother, if you're willing, why not exchange for a vitality pill? 10 vitality pills are enough." Fong Ping gave this guy a long look. Unscrupulous businessman. What kind of F***king high-ranked powerhouse would carry 11 pills and vitality pills? You could only fool a fool. At the higher ranks, these pills would no longer have any effect. Only a fool would run away with the pills. Human powerhouses wished they could not bring anything with them and go to the catacombs naked to fight. Middle-ranked martial artists would also consume these pills quickly. It was rare, but to say that it was obtained by killing a high-ranked powerhouse was bullshit. Profit, 1,000 times profit. He wanted to sell something worth $1 million for $3 billion, 3,000 times. Fong Ping suddenly had a thought. He still wanted to F***king earn money. Mining was so troublesome. Should he become a middleman too? There were many mineral veins in the catacombs. Energy stones were very valuable in the human world, but in the catacombs world, the prices might not be high. Although there were wars with humans in the outer realm, there were not many cities. Moreover, there were not many spoils of war seized from human martial artists. Humans were poor. These pills were indeed rare in the catacombs. Large-scale transactions probably won't have much effect. If there are too many of them, they won't be valuable anymore. But with the mentality of seeking novelty and selling them on a small scale, I'll definitely make a fortune. Fong Ping began to plan in his heart. The catacombs were too big, so big that there was no end to it. The population was at least tens of billions. Selling to a few thousand people would probably not even cause a ripple. If one person could earn 10 caddies of energy stones, a few thousand people, that would be tens of thousands of caddies. Fong Ping hurriedly began to check his storage space. Did he have these things? His storage space had been cleaned many times. He did not need many things anymore. If he did not need them, he would just throw them to the university. After a closer look, Fong Ping was really a little depressed. He did not seem to have any. No, Fong Ping searched for a long time and actually found a resurrection pill in the corner. Fong Ping had forgotten when he had saved it. The resurrection pill was also a good item for healing injuries. The first time Fong Ping saw a resurrection pill, it was used by that little rich lady, Chun Yunxi. She used it when she was only rank 1. It was extremely extravagant. A resurrection pill was also worth about 5 million. However, this thing was good for middle and low ranks. At high ranks, it was useless, especially at rank 8 with the existence of imperishable substance. Resurrection pills were useless. They were not even as effective as a wisp of imperishable substance. At this moment, seeing that Jin Yuhuai was promoting his products, Fong Ping glanced at them casually and said lightly, "These medicinal pills aren't considered precious. The real treasure is a type of healing medicinal pill used to resurrect martial artists. Resurrection pill. That is the real treasure. It is very rare. Unlike these pills, there are still some spoils. I think you guys probably didn't get any resurrection pills." Jin Yuhuai heard his words and was slightly stunned. Then he nodded and said, "This brother is right. I have also heard of the resurrection pill. However, that is a life-saving pill. Once in a crisis, resurrected martial artists will take it. There won't be any left." Fong Ping smiled and said, "I have obtained one before. I have always regarded it as a treasure. However, this pill is only useful for middle-level martial artists." Having said that, Fong Ping smiled and said, "I am not too far away from commander level. If anyone is willing to buy it, I can exchange it for 100 life stones." No matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. Fong Ping felt that he had to take the opportunity to sell it. 5 million for 100 caddies of energy stones. 30 billion. It would be too stupid not to take this deal. 100? Someone exclaimed. That's too expensive. Hua Beirong could not help but say, Kuei Ming, do you have this kind of pill too? But you don't lack life stones. Don't sell it. Others thought it was expensive, but Hua Beirong felt that Kuei Ming did not lack life stones. There was no need to sell it. This was a spoil of war. Perhaps it was also a spoil of war from Venerable Quiluo's collection. 100 life stones were not considered a lot to Kuei Ming. After all, he was the only son of his father. Kuei Ming's net worth was no less than that of the average rank 9 descendant. Fang Ping smiled and said, I happen to see Brother Jean selling martial artist resurrected pills. I see that many of you have not seen it before. If that's the case, why don't I share it with everyone? Having said that, Fang Ping rummaged in the big bag beside him for a while and took out a crystal box. He smiled and said, Is there anyone who is willing to buy it? Or you can exchange it with something else. Jin Yuhuai glanced at Fang Ping. Was he here to steal his business? But then again, he really did not have a resurrection pill. It was not considered a conflict. Jin Yuhuai came earlier than Fang Ping and the others. He had done a lot of business. He sold no less than 100 pills and made a huge profit. Now that Fang Ping had offered a high price, he did not expose him. If he exposed Fang Ping, he would be exposing himself. Although there were battles in the 107 territories, the Southern Territory had the most battles. Moreover, these foreign geniuses rarely participated in this kind of war. They did not know enough about resurrected martial artists. Even if they knew that these pills might not be good stuff, there would always be people who would be interested. Everyone did not lack energy stones too much. Thousands of people. He sold 100 pills. It was not a lot. However, the profits that he earned were probably only known by a few people. Both of them began to peddle their pills, and many people became interested. However, 100 was indeed too high. On the 7 Southern Territories side, a peak rank 6 martial artist haggled with Fang Ping for a while and bought his resurrection pill with 50 rank 9 energy stones. Even so, the other party was still quite happy, using a year's worth of expenses to buy a life-saving pill for resurrected martial artists that he had never seen before. The other party felt that he had made a profit. At this age, a peak rank 6 martial artist was at least a descendant of a rank 8 martial artist, or even a descendant of a city lord. 50 energy stones were really not much. Fang Ping, on the other hand, looked a little pained, but he was cursing in his heart. Idiots! These guys were really F***king rich. 50 caddies of energy stones in exchange for a resurrection pill. They were willing to do that. Can this deal be done? After Fang Ping sold the resurrection pill, he was thinking about this matter. Should he sneak into the restricted area next time and sell some pills to make a fortune? If he sold too many, there would be problems. The catacombs martial artists could not get that many pills. Even if they fought with humans, they would not get that many. Once they investigated, it would be easy to find problems. Evil sect martial artists. Do they trade with the catacombs martial artists? Fang Ping suddenly had this thought. Some of the evil sect martial artists had entered the restricted area. The evil sect had cultivated so many martial artists and consumed a lot of resources. However, according to the records of companies like the Pill Company, large transactions were traceable. Logically, the evil sect did not have so many resources to cultivate martial artists. Although Lin Long and the others also mingled in the evil sect, the strength of their subordinates was not too strong. On the other hand, the big sect might have traded with the catacombs. As he thought about this, Fang Ping did not think too much about it. He did not bring any pills. It was enough to earn some pocket money. The key was that Fang Ping saw a business opportunity now. Some of the treasures in the catacombs were usually very difficult for humans to obtain. For example, divine fruit, hundred-honing fruit, vein-molding flower, dark moon grass. It was very difficult for humans to obtain these things. Some of them were even special products of the catacombs. Once out of this catacombs, there would be no more. However, now that all the people from other areas had gathered here, should he trade for some good stuff? At this moment, Jin Yuhuai was not the only one trading. Those who came here were not too poor. If they were really poor, they would not have the resources to cultivate to the middle ranks. When these people came to the restricted area, they would bring as many things as they could. He needed to get some things done. He also needed to cultivate, so he could not rely on divine sect or dynasty to supply them. Fang Ping did not stay in the same place. Instead, he began to wander around. He had quite a lot of energy liquid on him. He compressed it and stored it in energy crystal bottles. This time, he brought it with him too. Previously, he had exchanged about 2,000 caddies. Fang Ping purposely hid about 300 caddies, then gave Feng Extinguisher and Li Yi 500 caddies each. Right now, he had about 700 caddies on him. 700 caddies of energy liquid was equivalent to 3,500 caddies of energy stones. With so many energy stones, he was not considered poor. Among the thousands of people present, there would definitely be people who had brought more than Fang Ping. After all, there was no shortage of descendants of the city lords here. However, among the rank 8 descendants, Fang Ping should also be the tycoon type. Perhaps my purpose is nothing else but to take advantage of this opportunity to obtain more things in the catacombs that will be of great help to human cultivation, especially treasures that can enhance mentality. Even though the cultivation method of the brain core had been discovered, humans were still in urgent need of treasures that could enhance mentality. However, the catacombs valued this relatively more, so the price was not cheap. On the other hand, things like the hundred-honing fruit and the vein-molding flower that were helpful to middle-ranked martial artists were not considered expensive. These things all grew in the energy mines. Humans did not have the conditions to obtain these items in large quantities, but the catacombs did. This was also the reason why there were so many middle-ranked martial artists in the catacombs. Fang Ping began to wander and trade. He did not dare to buy in large quantities, but he exchanged for a few of all kinds of treasures, so it was not considered eye-catching. While buying these things, Fang Ping listened to everyone's conversations. These people came from various territories. Some of the things they discussed were also related to humans. They were all descendants of the higher-ups. Some seemingly unimportant information was extremely important to Fang Ping. For example, Fang Ping heard someone discussing, "Gigantic Willow Capital City has recently sent someone to discuss the alliance with us. Brother Liu, your Gigantic Willow Capital City has fought with the martial artists who were resurrected a few times. How are their strengths? Are they very strong?" "They're all right. I've seen a guy. He's quite fierce. I think he's called Wang Jinyang or something, but there aren't many powerhouses like that. I heard from my father that the king has already agreed to the alliance. This time, when I return from the royal court, maybe I'll also have to fight the martial artists who were resurrected. Brother, by this time, the king is preparing to surround and kill the land of Rebirth's Western Guardian in the Four-City Alliance. Is there hope? There's still hope. The royal court will send people to assist. As long as the other territories also contribute, it won't be difficult to surround and kill the other party so that the land of Rebirth has no reinforcements. But I heard that the Western Guardian is not far from the true king level. Isn't it too dangerous? It's precisely because he's not far away that we have to kill him. The Sino Nation's Department of Investigation's minister, Moon Prince, has already broken through. We can't let them have another true king. The royal court has already issued orders several times to surround and kill the other party. Fang Ping's pupils contracted slightly. Surround and kill Zhang Weiyu? When these people arrived in the restricted area, they were unscrupulous and would talk about whatever gossip they had. After all, they were in the restricted area, thousands of miles away from the human world. Whatever they said, it would not be spread. Not to mention, when they arrived in the restricted area, they might not be able to return. If that was the case, there was no harm in talking about it. Could it be that there were still humans listening here? The prodigies from various territories had nothing to do anyway. They gossiped for a while, and there were many topics to talk about. As long as it was related to humans, Fang Ping would listen carefully. Over at the Nanjiang catacombs, the cities seemed to be forming an alliance. Over at the Shijiang catacombs, there were people preparing to surround and kill Zhang Weiyu. Even the Shishan catacombs seemed to have some movements. Maple King seemed to have sent someone to find an opportunity to ambush and kill those human martial artists who were cultivating in Shishan City. Tens of thousands of martial arts university new students. Many martial arts university new students were cultivating in Shishan City now. There had been no war in the Shishan catacombs for many years. The most recent one was because of Fang Ping that some powerhouses were mobilized. But now, the other parties seemed to know about the situation of the humans here. They knew that there were tens of thousands of human new martial artists cultivating in the city. According to these people, let the rank 9 powerhouses move first, luring away the human rank 9 powerhouse, which was Fang Yu. The other martial artists would gather in areas where rank 7 and 8 would not be able to sense them. When the high-ranked powerhouses were lured away, they would surround the city together, ambush Shishan City, and kill those new students. These messages made Fang Ping's heart move. Shouldn't I go out now? There was movement in the catacombs. Maybe it was because of the recent increase in battles. These catacombs martial artists were not satisfied with peace and were beginning to prepare for a big move. But from what these people said, they were still planning. The alliance of the catacombs cities was not something that could be done in a day or two. It would probably still take some time. I still have to go out as soon as possible. Fang Ping calculated in his heart, not to mention others. Zhang Weiyu and Shishan City had to be careful. Zhang Weiyu was now the number 1 person below the absolute peak. Nan Yunyue had entered the absolute peak, and Zhang Weiyu was not far behind. If they were surrounded and killed, the loss would be great. It was the same for Shishan City. Tens of thousands of new students had to evacuate at the last minute, but it was too late. If they were involved, some of these new students were aspiring martial artists, and they would definitely die. Also, they had to be careful of the Nanjiang catacombs. Right now, Wu Chuan was overseeing the Nanjiang catacombs. Later on, Old Fan would be overseeing it. He also had to remind them to be careful of the other party's alliance and to take humans by surprise. 1 month at most. I must leave within a month. Fang Ping calculated in his heart, according to what these people said. If it was an alliance, the time to attack should be near the end of the year. This was the time when the Shijiang catacombs would attack. At that time, some of the martial artists would evacuate, and it would be the easiest time to ambush and kill Zhang Weiyu. As for the Shishan catacombs, it might not be until the end of the year because the new students would evacuate at the end of the year. The catacombs were also clear about these things, and they might attack before the end of the year. Just these gains alone, this time I didn't come in vain. Fang Ping thought in his heart, maybe this time he could take the opportunity to kill a group of people. Sure enough, what old Zhang said was right. After entering the catacombs, it was still necessary to listen to more gossip. Things that the catacombs martial artists did not care about might be earth-shattering news to humans. Chapter 725. While Fang Ping and the others were trading, Qingyang Royal City, City Lord's Mansion, City Lord Residence, Main Hall, a huge crystal screen appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, there were dozens of experts gathered in the hall. On the screen was the plaza where Fang Ping and the others were. Everyone looked at it for a while, and a young man chuckled and said, "This little thing is not bad. Who thought of this idea? It feels quite interesting." "I learned it from the Land of Rebirth," a martial artist said faintly. "The Land of Rebirth doesn't have much, but it does have a lot of these messy things. The Land of Rebirth, that whatever great pope sent it, not bad. It's all right, but there's no sound. It's not as convenient as the immortal God's detection. The indestructible God's probe can be easily sensed by others. This kind of image switching is more subtle. If it can be done on a large scale, next time we'll set up these at the entrance of the outer realm, including the Imperial Sea Mountain." Someone said solemnly, "At that time, if the revived martial artists don't discover us, we can choose the best opportunity to defeat them in one fell swoop." At the front of the crowd, Feng Mieshing smiled and said, "It's difficult. It's very troublesome to set up such a large-scale setup. Moreover, it will take a long time, and it will require a true King Realm cultivator to use the undying God to solidify and then transform. It will be fine to fool those below the true King Realm, but it will be difficult for those at the true King Realm. If we hide ourselves, the other party might not notice us, especially at Mount Imperial Sea. That place is a realm solidified by the true King's indestructible God. The other party might not be able to sense it. That's true." Feng Mieshing smiled and said, "It will be interesting if it can be used on a large scale. Every move of the Land of Rebirth's true King powerhouses is under our surveillance. If we seize the opportunity, we might be able to kill a few true King powerhouses." As they spoke, Li leaned back on the huge chair and said lazily, "If we can create it, can't the Land of Rebirth create it?" Feng Mieshing said with a faint smile, "So what if I can create it? Their strength is inferior to ours, so they can't come to royal court. How can they monitor royal court's actions?" As for the outer regions, the difference in strength was also huge. Even if they could observe every movement in the outer region cities, what could they do? Would they dare to initiate an attack? As soon as he said this, a young man in the crowd suddenly sneered and said, "Why wouldn't I dare?" It was said that the 7 southern regions had been attacked many times, the 18 southern regions had been directly breached, and the 11 southern regions' divine generals had all been slaughtered. Feng Mieshing, other people might say that, but not you. Feng Mieshing's expression was cold. He looked at the youth who spoke and said coldly, "Hua, you, what is the meaning of this?" The youth called Hua Yu had a mocking smile on his face as he said indifferently, "What do you mean? You not understand? Feng Mieshing, if you have time, you should cultivate more. Don't go around all day." Was a commander at the middle stage qualified to inherit the position of King Lord at this time? Among the 16, you are the weakest. Even Li Yi is much stronger than you. What right do you have to fight for the Lord's position? At the side, Li Yi's expression was ugly as she snorted, "Hua Yu, royal father is not dead yet. It is not your place to discuss such things in front of this consort." Hua Yu didn't mind. He smiled and said, "Li Yi, I didn't mean anything by it. However, King Lord is not feeling well and still has to worry about the matters of the royal court. We also want to share some of the pressure with King Lord so that King Lord does not overwork himself. Moreover, we are not like some people. We remember that King Lord has sacrificed so much for the royal court. Some people are different. They are extremely arrogant and despotic. Even in the royal court, they are unscrupulous. In the previous battle of the royal court, every family suffered heavy losses. Hundreds of reserve commander prodigies were lost in an instant. If not for that, why do we need to recruit prodigies from the outer regions into the royal court? After all, these people were not groomed from young. We do not know them well. We have to choose again. Feng Miexing's expression was ashen. Now, he was not the only successor to the throne. There were 16 people, some strong and some weak. The strong ones were even weaker than a rank 9. The weak ones were like him, who had just reached middle stage rank 7. However, among these 16 people, Li Yi did not have the support of a true king. Her father was about to die, so naturally she had no chance. As for the others, some of them were not weak, but they did not have a strong background. It was not easy for them to rise to the position. Feng Miexing was different. His grandfather was the Maple King. Moreover, the Maple King had many good friends in the True King Hall who supported the Feng family. Feng Miexing's ability might be a little weak, but when the Lord died, he could probably reach the venerable stage. A venerable inheriting the Lord's position was not considered too weak. After sitting on the Lord's position for a few years, he could also enter the divine general stage quickly, and even comprehend the Tao of origin quickly. However, among the 16 people, there were still opponents. For example, Hua Yu, the other party, was also a descendant of a true king. Of course, Hua Yu's true king ancestor was more than 7 or 8 generations removed from his bloodline. His status was not as distinguished as his. Feng Miexing was furious, but he hated Fang Ping even more. If Fang Ping had not killed a large number of prodigies in the Battle of the Royal Court, he would have at least dozens of commander-level martial artists under his command. If Uncle Wang was not dead, he would also be a powerhouse among the divine generals and could support him. Now that Uncle Wang was dead, he could not go to the Maple King for everything. That would make him seem too useless. After a few times, the Maple King would probably be disappointed in him. When he thought of his father again, Feng Miexing snorted coldly in his heart. His father could not help at all. Up until now, he had not even entered the venerable stage. This made Feng Miexing extremely angry. Otherwise, he would not have made things difficult for him. Although the Maple King still had 3 divine generals under his command, these divine generals also had their own missions. The Maple King's royal territory was huge, covering 9 royal cities. Now, 2 divine generals were the masters of 2 royal cities. One was in the True King Hall waiting for the Maple King's orders. As for the Maple King, he could only order around a few venerable martial artists. This time, Feng Miexing did not respond to Hua Yu's provocation. Among the people present, there were people from the 8 major divine sects and people from the 12 dynasties. Last time, many of these people from the subsidiary forces had died. Many of them were very dissatisfied with him. At this time, when Hua Yu mentioned the Battle of the Royal Court, it was obvious that he was up to no good. Seeing that Feng Miexing did not speak, Hua Yu smiled and did not continue. Instead, he looked at the giant screen and said, "This time, a total of more than 4,700 people were brought in from the outer area. More than 1,600 of them are warlord martial artists. However, many of them are useless. Some of the city masters from the outer area sent in, but I'm afraid less than half of them have actually seen blood. This time, there are 8 dynasties, 6 divine sects, and 62 royal cities that came here. Everyone, please choose according to your taste. I have my eyes on a few of them too. Please don't fight with me," Hua Yu said lightly with a smile on his face. As the heir to the throne, it was necessary to nurture the forces under his command. He was a rank 8 powerhouse, and now he had many powerhouses under his command. However, the more the better. He had to pick some fellows who had high hopes of becoming high-ranked to add in new blood. Only then could his force become stronger. When the Lord fell, the strength of the force under his command was also a standard to consider. For example, Feng Niesheng did not have many powerhouses under his command. Even if he became a lord, could he command the world without direct subordinates to do things for him? Even if he became a lord, he would still be a puppet. The people from the various dynasties and sects looked at the giant screen, staring at some people. It seemed like they had already made their choice. Feng Niesheng stared at the screen too. This time, he also had to recruit some new blood. Among the 16 heirs, his ability was the weakest, and the force under his command was also the weakest. Soon, Feng Niesheng saw Kuei Ming wandering around in the crowd. Upper stage warlords were not considered strong. Even in the 7 Southern Territory, they were not the strongest. There were still 3 peak warlord martial artists in the 7 Southern Territory. This time, there were not many quasi-commander level martial artists. There was still no shortage of peak warlords. Among the 1,600 people, there were at least 100. However, after watching for a while, Feng Niesheng finally looked at Kuei Ming. He calculated in his heart, this guy dared to attack a venerable when he was only a warlord. Even in the royal court, not many people dared to do this. If he was trained well, when he reached commander level, would he not dare to attack a divine general? This kind of person was brave enough, and his combat strength was not weak either. As long as he could subdue the other party, he would be a good sword. Many a time, commander-level martial artists would not dare to breathe when they saw a divine general martial artist. This kind of person might not be of much use at critical moments. Feng Niesheng was watching, and Li Yi, who was sitting on the throne, was watching too. Warlords were not considered much, but the strong rose from the weak. Choosing these foreign geniuses was not based on their strength. It did not matter if they were weak now, but their potential. Kuei Ming is strong, has good potential, and is brave enough. Most importantly, he is not a bold but foolish person. Li Yi was also thinking. From the life fluid that Kuei Ming had given her early in the morning, she could tell that this guy was not a foolish person. However, it was not easy to submit to such a person. As Li Yi thought about it, she suddenly laughed in her heart. Kuei Ming was smart. He was not a reckless man, but he was not very shrewd. If he was shrewd, he would not have killed Red Alder today. Moreover, she was the Lord's son. She was more shrewd and more powerful than him. This guy had entered the royal court and had no friends. Who else could he rely on but her? It's good that he is not a reckless man. I do not lack a sword. If he is too stupid, it will be easy for him to ruin things. Moreover, she had personally gone to the 7 Southern Territory to fetch this person. He was also very clear about Kuei Ming's background. His father, Kuei Luo, seemed to have a good relationship with him. Kuei Luo only had this one son. Maybe he could bring Kuei Luo in later on. This way, they would have another venerable combat strength. There were many venerable powerhouses in the royal court, but there were not many of them after they were distributed. It was extremely difficult to subdue these people. On the other hand, if Kuei Luo subdued Kuei Ming, he would naturally lean towards her. The people in the basilica were still observing. On Fang Ping's side, he had exchanged for many useful things. There were a lot of specialties when people from the foreign territories gathered. In the past, Fang Ping knew that only the 100 honing fruit and the vein molding flower were useful to rank 4 and 5 martial artists. This time, he discovered a few new energy fruits. Some were even exchanging for life essence. However, there were not many of them, and they were expensive. Fang Ping did not exchange for them. After exchanging for some things, Fong Ping returned to the original place. At this moment, Jin Yuhuai had not left. Seeing that Fong Ping had returned, he said with a smile, "These things that Brother Kuei exchanged for don't seem to be very helpful to Brother Kuei." Fong Ping said nonchalantly, "I've never seen it before. I'll exchange for some as a souvenir. When I return to the 7 Southern Territory in the future, whether it's to cultivate or collect, it's not a bad idea." "That's true," Jin Yuhuai said with a smile. "Brother Kuei has the same thought as me." "Right. Where are you planning to go this time?" "What about you?" "Of course I want to go to Tianji City." Jin Yuhuai did not hide it, and said with a smile, "Perhaps it will be more difficult in the beginning after going to the Imperial City, but it will be easier to get to know some big shots, and there will be more opportunities. In the Outer Realms, people like us can only stay at the Commander Realm for the rest of our lives, or at most the Venerable Realm. If I want to enter the King Realm—" Fong Ping frowned. "Be careful with your words. In this place, you must say Divine General." Jin Yuhuai hurriedly smiled and said, "Thank you for the reminder, Brother Kuei. It's almost impossible for us to enter the Divine General Realm. We only have hope in the Imperial Court, but a true king was hard to find, and becoming a disciple of a true king was far too difficult. Where the Imperial Court is, where the Imperial City is, there are only some true kings active there. I heard that the True King's Hall is near the Imperial City. Maybe if there's a chance, I can go to the True King's Hall to take a look. Even if it's just serving tea and going to the True King's Hall, it's still better than going to those dynasties and divine sects. It's a pity that the True King's Hall doesn't accept people at all. I can only look for opportunities." Jin Yuhuai came earlier than Fong Ping, so he knew more. He looked regretful. He was also a rank 6 martial artist, the same rank as Fong Ping, upper stage rank 6. Such a martial artist would be a powerhouse in the Outer Realms. In the human world, he would even be a master-level powerhouse. But at this moment, he would rather go to the True King's Hall to serve tea and pour water. There were dozens of true king powerhouses there. There were too many opportunities there. If a true king took a fancy to him and took him in as a disciple, he might become a commander very soon. Venerable was not far away, and there was hope for Divine General. When he said that, Fong Ping's heart stirred slightly. He smiled and said, "Is the True King's Hall near the Imperial City? I really didn't know about this. I thought the True King's Hall was in the Imperial City." "That's not it. The Imperial City is where the Lord is. The Lord is also not willing, if they are together, it will easily lead to some trouble. But the distance is not far. Also, the Imperial City is too prosperous. The Lord True Kings need some peace, so they stay away from the hustle and bustle, hiding from the world." Fong Ping listened for a while and looked at him suspiciously. He said lightly, "Brother Jin, why are you saying this to me?" Jin Yuhuai smiled and said, "It's rare to meet someone with the same interests. Moreover, Brother Kuei and I are neighboring territories. Maybe we will meet again if fate allows it. In the future, once the bounded boundaries are opened, you and I will return to the Outer Realms. When that time comes, you and I may both be city lords called kings and ancestors. When that time comes, you and I may even be able to form an alliance and fight side by side." Jin Yuhuai was thinking a lot. Both territories were neighboring territories, and there was a bounded boundaries in between. Once the bounded boundaries were opened, there would be no more obstacles. When that time came, they could travel together. For people from the Outer Realms, if they did not have a chance in the royal court, and when they reached rank 9 and there was no vacancy in the royal city's city lord position, many of them would plan to go to the Outer Realms to build a city or simply replace a city lord's position. Many of those city lords from the Outer Realms went out from the restricted area. Of course, There were also people from the outer realms who came to the restricted area to gain experience and went back after they had achieved something. Fang Ping heard that and smiled. Brother Jean, you think far ahead. That's true. If we join the same sect, we will still be brothers. Compared to outsiders, it is naturally easier to trust our fellow sect members. Jin Yuhuai smiled. I see that Brother Kuei's killing intent is boiling. It seems like you have been through many battles. Among these people here, there are really not many whose killing intent is faster than Brother Kuei's. Don't be fooled by the fact that some of these fellows claim to be from the front line of the land of rebirth. They don't even have the smell of blood on them. How can this kind of trash be mentioned in the same breath as you and I? Fang Ping's gaze changed slightly. He smiled and said, Brother Jean, you have killed many enemies in the outer realms. Of course. Jin Yuhuai smiled. In the outer realms, in Hibiscus City, we have been fighting with the land of rebirth for many years. Although the rebirth martial artists are difficult to deal with, they are not invincible. Jin Yuhuai boasted for a while about how many powerhouses he had killed and how many enemies he had defeated. Fang Ping, however, frowned slightly. There was a killing intent on Jin Yuhuai's body, but it was not considered strong. Was this fellow bragging? Over at Dongwu Catacombs, the battles were not considered frequent. According to this fellow, he alone had killed a few rank 16 martial artists. Bullsh *T. Dongwu Catacombs had killed a few rank 16ths. How could Fang Ping not know? Rank SIXS were not cabbages. Jin Yuhuai was not old. He had not been a rank 6 for more than 5 years. 5 years, killing a few rank 16ths. Did he think he was stupid? Fang Ping thought as he dealt with him. As they chatted, Fang Ping's heart stirred. Jin Yuhuai knew a lot about the human world. He actually knew about Dongwu Martial Arts University, knew about MCMAU, knew about the House of Governor, knew about the Martial King, the Netherworld King. This should not be. Even Fang Ping, who was in the middle ranks, did not know much about the Apex. Jin Yuhuai actually knew about it. Titles like the Martial King and the Netherworld King were only known when one reached the higher ranks. Even if Jin Yuhuai's elders were powerhouses, as long as they were not at the true king level, they might not know. Fang Ping suddenly stared at Jin Yuhuai. Jin Yuhuai looked confused. Then he smiled and said, Brother Kuei, what's wrong? Fang Ping said lightly, Just now you said the land of rebirth's martial king likes to eavesdrop on secrets. Yes, Fang Ping's heart was in turmoil. Damn it, what was going on? An impasse powerhouse like Zhang Tao was also very prideful. Not many people knew that he liked to eavesdrop. Although many people in MCMAU knew about it, there were not many who knew that Zhang Tao had passed it down. Only people like Fang Ping knew that old Zhang liked to do this. He only knew about it because he had frequent contact with him. More than half of the Grandmaster powerhouses did not know about this secret. Among the hundreds of Grandmasters in Sino Nation, most of them had the impression that Zhang Tao was amiable, a good minister, and a genial old man. Only some Grandmasters who had more contact with Zhang Tao knew about old Zhang's hobby. But Jin Yuhuai actually knew. Bullsh *T. There are humans who have contact with Jin Yuhuai, and it's a core figure. Evil sect. Do the evil sect martial artists know about old Zhang? Or someone else? Is there a traitor in the core? Fang Ping could not stay calm, but he smiled and said, How did you know? The matters of these true king powerhouses are not something we can come into contact with. Jin Yuhuai coughed softly and said with a smile, My father said so. Your father is Hibiscus City's Divine War Army's commander-in-chief. Fang Ping understood. His identity was almost the same as Red Alder's grandfather. Kuei Luo was the commander-in-chief of the Imperial Guards, while Red Alder's grandfather was the commander-in-chief of the external combat troops. However, even if this guy's father was a rank 8, he should not know about these things. Did Jin Yuhuai think that he had not seen the world? If it were a normal person from the outer realm, he would not think too much about it. As a frontline martial artist fighting against the land of rebirth, what was there to know about these things? However, Fong Ping did not forget that just a year ago, both parties actually did not communicate with each other. At least not in the outer realm. The real communication was only recently, after the catacombs language was popularized. Only then did both parties communicate. However, this kind of communication was currently limited to high-ranked martial artists. Middle and low-ranked martial artists did not grasp the language that quickly. There's something wrong with this guy. There might be a traitor in Sino Nation and Dongwu catacombs. Right, this guy traded a lot of pills before this. Even if the humans were defeated, he's just a rank 6 martial artist. Where could he get so many pills? Fong Ping did not think too much about it before, but now he felt that there was a big problem. What was the situation in Dongwu catacombs? While Fong Ping was thinking about these, Jin Yuhuai's heart was thumping hard. What's wrong? Did I say something wrong? I didn't say anything wrong, did I? I was just looking for a topic to talk about. Did something go wrong? Will I be exposed? But this guy is from the 7 Southern Territory. I'm from the 6 Southern Territory. I'm not familiar with him. He won't know anything, right? Didn't I just trade a little with the land of rebirth martial artists? It'll be fine, right? The land of rebirth martial artists are all poor paupers. I'm just selling some stuff. It's not considered supporting the enemy, right? Although that was what he thought, Jin Yuhuai was feeling nervous. He would slip up if he said too much. Why did he say all this out of the blue? In the past few years, he had reaped a lot of benefits by trading with the resurrected martial artists. His father had more than 10 descendants, and he had a lot of siblings. Most of them were his father's children in his early years. Some of his grandchildren were even older than him. There were so many people. Although he was his father's son, the resources he got every year were very little, helpless and coincidental. He managed to get in touch with the resurrected martial artists. He used some of the land of rebirth specialties to trade in Royal City and got a lot of resources, which allowed him to quickly become an upper-stage warlord. The people in Royal City thought that he had killed the land of rebirth martial artists and seized them. He said that he had killed a few rank 16, and he was not bragging. This was how he reported his battle results. After all, he had never seen the resurrected martial artists he killed. In Royal City, he had made great contributions and received a lot of rewards. He was also valued by many people. That was why he had the quota to enter the restricted area this time. Otherwise, although he was the son of a rank 8 powerhouse, there were many people in Royal City who had a higher status than him. This guy doesn't seem to believe me. D***MN. I shouldn't have said this. Do I have to silence him? Jin Yuhuai was nervous. He had only talked about the Martial King's gossip. Was there something wrong with that? Isn't this something that everyone knows? Jin Yuhuai wanted to silence him. Fong Ping, on the other hand, wanted to find a chance to capture this guy and interrogate him. Something was not right. Someone in the Dongwu catacombs might have colluded with the enemy. Even old Zhang's secrets were leaked. The identity of the person who colluded with the enemy might not be low. Don't let me find out who it is. Otherwise, I'm dead meat. Fong Ping thought about this and continued to chat with Jin Yuhuai. Jin Yuhuai also kept testing him, wanting to know if he was suspected. Both of them had ulterior motives, testing each other. Fong Ping even had his eyes on Jin Yuhuai's bag. There were so many energy stones. If he killed this guy, it seemed like he could earn a lot. This guy had earned a lot by reselling pills. Chapter 726. While Fang Ping and Jin Yuhuai were conversing with each other with ulterior motives. Earth. It was already late at night on the 3rd of November. Ministry of Education. As usual, old Zhang did not go home at all. He worked here day and night. If there were no important matters, the Ministry of Education was his home. He would not leave easily. On the table, the red phone rang. Zhang Tao waved his hand, and the phone flew up. On the other side of the phone, someone said, "Minister, there's some trouble." "Speak." "Jin Yuhuai has left the Dongwu catacombs. I don't know where he is. I've contacted him secretly many times, but there's no response. Last time, he said he might go to the restricted area." "Minister, I suspect he's already left." Zhang Tao frowned slightly. After a while, he said, "He went to the restricted area? I'm afraid this line is broken. Have you tried to contact other catacombs martial artists recently?" "Minister, it's too difficult. All these years, only Jin Yuhuai has taken the bait. We don't dare to test the others. We were worried that people would suspect Jin Yuhuai, so there hasn't been much progress. Since Jin Yuhuai has left, let's try again and get through this line." "Minister, this can't be done overnight. Now that Jin Yuhuai has left, we've lost too much without this line. In the past, we earned at least a few hundred caddies of energy stones every year. Now it's gone. We shouldn't have let him collect his merits. Now that he's gone to the restricted area, some of our plans are in trouble. We originally wanted him to enter the higher ranks and become a commander." Zhang Tao chuckled. "There's no rush. This kind of person doesn't care about race or country. If he achieves something in the restricted area in the future, maybe we can use him. But it's a pity that this kind of person is hard to find. It'll be hard to find a replacement." As he said that, Zhang Tao added, "In that case, martial artists from other regions have entered the restricted area recently. That's good. There's a lot less middle-ranked martial artists all of a sudden. It can also reduce our pressure." Having said that, Zhang Tao continued, "Since Jin Yuhuai's line has been broken, then find a replacement as soon as possible. A few hundred caddies of energy stones is not a small amount. Right, the people who contacted him didn't say anything, right? No, that's good. Be careful with what you say and do to avoid trouble." Zhang Tao hung up the phone very quickly. He started calculating in his heart. Jin Yuhuai had also entered the restricted area. Would he bump into Fang Ping? Still, it was fine. That kid Fang Ping was very slippery. Jin Yuhuai did not know anything. It was just a simple transaction. Even Li Jun did not know about Fang Ping, so Jin Yuhuai would not know either. What a pity! Zhang Tao sighed. All these years, he had not planted many spies in the catacombs. Jin Yuhuai could not be considered a spy, but he was a rare talent in the catacombs. He was afraid of death, but he wanted to become stronger so he could use his brain. After working with him for a few years, Zhang Tao had earned at least 2,000 to 3,000 kilograms of energy stones. For humans, this was an incomparably huge gain. Now that this line had been broken, it would be difficult to find another one. It's a pity that I can't get into the forbidden area. Otherwise, I would be able to contact that fellow. Perhaps I would be able to find more clues in the forbidden area. Zhang Tao felt slightly regretful again. As for Fang Ping, he did not expect Jin Yuhuai to go to the restricted area. Otherwise, he could let Fang Ping try to contact them. However, he could not trust Jin Yuhuai. Otherwise, it would be more troublesome if he was sold. It's good that he doesn't know. Fang Ping's head is very valuable. If he knows, The possibility of Jin Yuhuai selling him out is higher. As Zhang Tao thought about this, he thought about something else. The Dongwu catacombs line had been broken, but the other catacombs lines could not be broken so easily. These fellows are getting greedier and greedier. When they reach the higher ranks, they might not trade anymore. Zhang Tao felt a little regretful. High-ranked martial artists did not lack these resources. When that time came, if he wanted to trade again, the other party might not agree. It was more likely that he would sell out the person he contacted. The catacombs whelps are all insatiable wolves. It's a pity that after all these years, they haven't been able to corrupt castellan powerhouses. Old Zhang muttered in his heart. He had not done enough. Otherwise, if they could really corrupt a few castellan powerhouses, that would be interesting. In the forbidden area. Brother Jin, I'm planning to rely on His Royal Highness Li Lu. What are your plans? His Royal Highness Li Lu. Jin Yuhuai whispered. Brother Kuei, His Royal Highness Li Lu is not very stable among the heirs to the throne. I heard that the royal lord, you're relying on him now. Fong Ping laughed. The more critical the situation, the better the opportunistic opportunity. If it were other people, other forces, middle-ranked martial artists like us might not be valued. That's true. Jin Yuhuai fell into deep thought. As he thought about this, he glanced at Fong Ping again and did not say anything else. The two of them probed for a long time. Jin Yuhuai was now a little suspicious. Could this fellow be the same as him? Had he also traded with the resurrected martial artists? As he thought about this, Fong Ping stood up. Jin Yuhuai was stunned for a moment. He said in a low voice, Brother Kuei, I'm taking the initiative to visit to express my sincerity. Fong Ping chuckled. Sitting and waiting is not a good habit. Opportunities still need to be fought for by oneself. Jin Yuhuai was shocked. They were kindred spirits. What a good word. Opportunities still needed to be grasped by oneself. If he relied on others, he might still be lingering around rank 3 or 4. I see that Brother Kuei came together with the two highnesses. Can you introduce us? Of course, no problem. Having said that, Fong Ping stared at his big bag and said with a smile, Brother Jin, when you do things, you still need to pay a price. Moreover, carrying so many things with you can easily cause problems. And I don't know much about the palace. If we're targeted, it won't be a good thing. Jin Yuhuai felt a little pained, but he quickly smiled and said, Don't worry. When it's done, Brother Kuei will get his share. Brother Jin, are you sure you want to come with me? Yes, you're right. If we want to get a bigger chance, then we need to pay more. Since no one is optimistic about His Highness Li Yi, then we'll have more chances if we rely on him. The two of them looked at each other and did not say anything more. Fong Ping did not make much noise. He walked out of the square with Jin Yuhuai. Outside the square, a group of armored warriors was standing guard. However, Fong Ping raised Li Yi's banner and gave him some benefits. Very soon, he received news from Li Yi and knew that he was staying at the mansion. The backyard of the mansion. Li Yi received Fong Ping and Jin Yuhuai in his temporary residence. Li Yi leaned on the chair with a playful look on his face. He smiled and said, Are you sure you want to follow me? This time, many dynasties and divine sects have come. Some people from the royal territory have also come. 16 highnesses. Other than me, there are 5 more. If you really want to follow me, Kuei Ming, Jin Yuhuai, many people have set their eyes on you today. Jin Yuhuai killed many resurrected martial artists and generals in the 6 southern regions. Kuei Ming, you even dared to attack a venerable. Both of you are not nobodies either. Fong Ping's expression was solemn. He said seriously, Kuei Ming knows his place. I'm just an outsider. My strength is only an upper stage general. To others, I'm not indispensable. However, His Highness is in need of help now. I feel that His Highness's place is where we belong. My father is being ostracized in Monster Sunflower City. He wants me to stand firm in the palace. However, I don't know any other big shots. That day in Monster Sunflower City, it was His Highness who gave me the Fountain of Life to save my life. I'm willing to sacrifice my life. Li Yi said lightly, Feng Miesheng also thinks highly of you. Why don't you go to him? Fang Ping sighed softly. His Highness Feng is a descendant of a true king. He doesn't lack subordinates. If that's the case, I'm lacking? That's not what I meant, Li Yi suddenly laughed. Kuei Ming, you're a smart person. Since you're a smart person, I don't mind saying a few more words. Having said that, Li Yi laughed. The battle between kings and lords is a battle of life and death. Since you want to follow me, you're going to die at any time. Have you thought it through? I'll definitely die. There's no use talking. Li Yi had a playful look on her face. How about this? Tomorrow, everyone will choose the outsider geniuses. Feng Miesheng and Huayu will also choose some people. Aren't you very brave? If Feng Miesheng and the rest take a liking to you, how about you reject them and come to me? Not only that, some of the people they choose. If you kill a few of them on the spot, I'll take you in. Fang Ping's expression changed drastically. Jin Yuwai's face was also pale. Kill a few martial artists chosen by His Highness on the spot. That would be a serious offense. No, they might even be killed on the spot. Li Yi laughed. Don't worry, I'll get someone to protect your lives. It's just killing a few outsider martial artists. It's nothing. If that's the case, I'll trust you even more. You've cut off your escape route. In the future, you can only work for me in the royal court. Since you're willing to die, if you don't even have the guts to do this, how can I believe that you're willing to die for me? If you don't dare, I won't make things difficult for you. You can go wherever you want. I won't kill you either. Ha ha ha, because no one will believe you, Fang Ping cursed in his heart. If I reject you, you'll probably kill me right now. This fellow was indeed sinister. They had to submit to him, and they had to hand over their names. If they killed Feng Miesheng and the rest people with their personalities, they would definitely explode in anger. Killing them on the spot was a 100% choice. Moreover, Li Yi might not even save them. This fellow's heart was really evil. Fang Ping struggled for a moment and suddenly said, Your Highness, if I kill them, I don't care about my life, but my father might be implicated. If Your Highness can protect my father, I'm willing to die for Your Highness. Li Yi was slightly moved. She paused before smiling. You're really willing to do it? I'm willing. Fang Ping's expression was solemn. He said in a low voice, Since I've come to the royal court, I want to make a name for myself. The royal court is full of danger. I'm only a warlord. How can I make a name for myself? If I don't die today, I might die a violent death tomorrow. If that's the case, I'm willing to take the risk. Before my father left, he passed his life savings to me. If I return just like that, I won't have the face to return to the 7 southern regions. My father's biggest wish is for me to become the lord of the royal court. If Your Highness can become the lord, then my choice today might be able to exchange for the position of the lord of the royal city. Ha ha ha! How brave! How bold! You're indeed a martial artist who dared to draw his saber against the venerable one. Li Yi was all smiles. Why do you have to wait for me to become the lord? If you really dare to offend Feng Miesheng and the rest, you're strong enough. It might be difficult to become the lord of the royal city, but I can still agree to become the lord of the capital city. Don't forget, the lord of the royal city is my father. Fang Ping was overjoyed. He hurriedly bowed, beaming with joy. I won't let you down, Your Highness. Good. Li Yi was all smiles too. She then looked at Jin Yuhuai and smiled. Jin Yuhuai, what's your choice? Jin Yuhuai almost cursed in his heart. What else can I choose? If I don't agree, I'll die right now. Damn it, didn't they say that Li Yi was useless? This fellow is very cunning. And that fellow Kuei Ming, he has caused me so much trouble. If I agree now, I'll offend the others. However, fortune comes from danger. Li Yi is ruthless enough. There's still a chance. After all, the position of the Lord cannot be decided by one true king. It's decided by all the true kings in the True King Hall, including the Hall Master. Although Feng Mieshing and the others had true king ancestors, they might not be recognized by the True King Hall. If one could become the lord of the royal city based on their family background, then they might as well stop fighting. The descendants of the Hall Master were more qualified than anyone else. At the thought of this, Jin Yuhuai immediately bowed. Your subordinate is also willing to die for your highness. Ha ha ha, this is getting interesting. Li Yi glanced at both of them and laughed. Both of you are still weak. In the royal city, if you don't reach high ranks, you're insignificant. However, once you reach high ranks, it'll be a different story. If both of you really make a move tomorrow, I promise to help both of you reach high ranks as soon as possible. Thank you, Your Highness. Both of them hurriedly thanked her. Li Yi smiled, but did not say anything. There's no hurry. There's still a long way to go. Tomorrow was just an appetizer. If both of them really reached high ranks, perhaps they could do something more interesting. Feng Mieshing was only a middle-stage commander. In the royal city, no one dared to kill Feng Mieshing. But what about these two? I might not accept both of them tomorrow. Perhaps it'll be better to find someone else to accept both of them. Li Yi calculated in her heart. A wide smile appeared on her face once again. Very quickly, she said, keep an eye on both of them. Inform me of their every move. If they cross the line, behead them. Yes, Your Highness. The rank 8 powerhouse standing beside him responded and left the palace quickly. Li Yi picked up her teacup, took a sip, and chuckled. If both of them had any ulterior motives, they would be courting death. Walking out of Li Yi's palace, Jin Yuhuai wanted to say something but stopped himself. He looked at Fang Ping helplessly. F***CK, I'll be a fool to believe you. Fang Ping, however, did not bat an eyelid and continued walking outside. There were many high-ranked powerhouses here. There was even a rank 8 martial artist beside Li Yi who was watching them. After walking out of the mansion, there were many people walking outside the mansion even in the middle of the night. At this moment, Fang Ping asked softly, Brother Jin, are you regretting it? A little. Fang Ping said softly, since you've made your choice, then don't regret it. Since we're going to take a gamble, then we'll take a big gamble. Jin Yuhuai sighed and did not say anything else. His expression was pessimistic. Fang Ping, on the other hand, had a half-smile on his face. He glanced sideways from the corner of his eyes. Li Yi, her martial arts were not up to par yet. I didn't really come to the catacombs to rely on anyone. As long as the catacombs are in chaos, I don't care how it's chaotic. Fang Ping calculated for a while. Was the mission going to be completed in advance? That would be great. He could go back in advance. He just did not know if it would delay him from earning money. Chapter 727. In the blink of an eye, the sky was bright. Central Square. The martial artists from other territories had all arrived. Thousands of people were bustling about. These people were like goods waiting to be picked today. These people stood in the square while a palace floated in the air. The powerhouses from the House of City, Lord yesterday, were all in the palace now. In the palace, almost everyone was a high-ranked martial artist. Some were rank 7, some were rank 9. At this moment, in the palace, everyone looked at each other. Someone laughed. "Who's first?" "Your Highnesses, please go first. It's just a bunch of martial artists from other territories. Moreover, this kind of thing can't be done by just anyone." Someone chuckled. The martial artists from other territories were considered important, but they were not. It was not a big deal. Moreover, these martial artists were divided into different factions. Many of them would directly join the faction their fathers belonged to. It wasn't just a random selection. As soon as this was said, Hua Yu laughed in the crowd. "Since everyone is going easy, I'll go first." After saying that, Hua Yu flew down from the palace and landed on the high platform in the middle of the square. He shouted, "The Qinghua region is recruiting 30 warlord martial artists this time." The Qinghua region has 7 royal cities and 33 capital cities. Unless you're a warlord, you won't be accepted unless you've received a twice infusion of energy. If you're willing, hurry up. I'll only be waiting for a moment. These people were very straightforward. They did not mention anything about benefits. They only mentioned their requirements. Energy infusion was the same concept as human bone honing. Hua Yu's requirements were not low. Not only did he want a rank 6, he wanted a twice-honed one. Even in the catacombs, not everyone was twice-honed. Those who honed their bones once would progress slower if they did not reach a high rank. Everyone knew this very well. They also consumed more resources than others. These powerhouses were not willing to waste too many resources on them. Fang Ping was calm. Beside him, Hua Beirong seemed a little tempted. She asked in a low voice, "Kuei Ming, where are you going?" Fang Ping smiled. "Didn't someone come to recruit you last night? Since it's decided, why ask?" It was not as if these powerhouses did nothing last night. Many people had come to the plaza last night. Some of the genius cultivators had been greeted in advance and stated their conditions. Hua Yu hadn't mentioned anything about remuneration, but his men had come by last night and had even laid out some conditions. Of course, it was only targeted at genius martial artists. Fang Ping was among them. Many people had offered him conditions, but there were not many on Hua Beirong's side. She was just an early-stage rank 6 martial artist. However, there were not many female martial artists. Some powerhouses had special hobbies. Female martial artists, like Hua Beirong, were also extremely popular. Hua Beirong blushed a little when she heard that. Last night, a few envoys had offered her conditions. The treatment was not bad. Her father was only a commander realm martial artist. He had some status in the outer domain, but here it was nothing. If she could ride on the coattails of these people, she would have a chance of reaching the commander realm and even the venerable realm. In the outer realms, she could forget about entering the commander realm in her entire life. Even though he had already reached level 6, level 7 was still a huge challenge. Hearing Fang Ping's words, Hua Beilong hesitated for a moment, but still said, "Kuei Ming, we're from the same region and the same city. Yesterday, His Highness Hua also expressed his intention to recruit you. How about?" Fang Ping smiled. "I have a choice." When Hua Beilong heard this, she stopped talking. Kuei Ming was a genius in the outer domain, but he was nothing in the royal court. Hua Beilong did not hesitate any longer and walked toward the high platform. At this time, some martial artists in the crowd also walked forward. Hua Yu glanced at them, a hint of a smile in his eyes. The geniuses that he had his eyes on yesterday were all in his hands. As for the few who did not choose to go to the King Hua territory, He did not care. It was enough. Huayu was done choosing people. The number of people had already exceeded 30, but he did not care. If it was more than 30, then so be it. The extra people could be used to do odd jobs. Huayu had just chosen people when very soon another person landed. This time, it was a female martial artist, also rank 8. As soon as the woman landed, she said calmly without the slightest trace of anger, "The Ziluo Imperial region is recruiting 30 warlords and 50 people below the warlord rank. Females are the best. All male martial artists need to undergo a second energy infusion." Below the platform, Fong Ping glanced at her. This was also a successor to the Lord. Martial artists did not care much about gender. They only cared about strength. Strength, that was the foundation. This woman was rank 8 and had a true king ancestor behind her. It was only natural that she would become the Lord's successor. If Ji Yao was capable, it would not be a problem for her to take over her father's position. In reality, the chances were not small. Each family had 2 true kings, and one was a hall master. Ji Yao's strength could keep up. At rank 8, there was a high chance that she would become the lord of the Monster Life Royal Court. The Ziluo Imperial region's recruitment speed was extremely fast. Soon, a large number of martial artists followed. The female martial artist on the platform glanced at them. Seeing that there were enough people, she did not waste any time and quickly moved to the side with her people. As for the martial artists under her command, she did not care if there were any who were just there to make up the numbers. If they really did not meet her requirements, they were still middle-ranked martial artists. When they arrived at the Imperial region, she could hand over some dangerous tasks to them. If they died, then so be it. At least she would have a few free laborers. In the palace, Feng Miesheng glanced at Li Yi and said lightly, "Li Yi, do you want to go first or should I?" Li Yi smiled. "You go first. I am not in a hurry." Feng Miesheng glanced at her and laughed. He was extremely playful. Without another word, he landed on the platform and shouted, "The Maple Imperial region is recruiting 50 warlords. They only want warlords. Hurry up." As soon as he said that, a large group of warlord powerhouses walked out one after another. Feng Miesheng suddenly looked at Fong Ping and asked lightly, "Kuei Ming, what about you?" Fong Ping replied calmly, "Thank you for your kind intentions, Your Highness. I have already made my choice." Humph! Feng Miesheng snorted coldly and ignored him. Beside him, Huayu and the female rank 8 were smiling. This was interesting. Feng Miesheng had taken a liking to the other party and even named him. It was a pity that he was rejected. This was a harsh slap to the face. Huayu sneered inwardly. He had asked someone to ask Fong Ping, but the other party did not agree. He did not care either. However, he did not name anyone. It did not matter if they came or not. Feng Miesheng was the one asking for humiliation. However, a mere warlord martial artist had the guts to reject Feng Miesheng in front of him. With Feng Miesheng's personality, this Kuei Ming fellow would be in big trouble sooner or later. At this moment, Jin Yu Huai, who was beside Fong Ping, squeezed his way over carefully. He glanced at Fong Ping, his expression conflicted. Fong Ping ignored him. After a while, everyone on Feng Miesheng's side had arrived. It was only then that Li An landed lazily. She smiled faintly and said, "Send 20 people. They have to be warlords. Anyone." Below the platform, Fong Ping started walking. Lian smiled and looked at Feng Miesheng beside her. She said casually, "I'll let you have this fellow. I'm not interested in an insensible fellow." "No need." Feng Miesheng's expression was cold. Lian smiled again. Up to you. If you're interested, you can take him with you anytime. I was thinking of asking him to guard the door for me. With his insensible character, who knows how much trouble he will bring to me? I'll arrange for him to be sent to the Beast Palace later. The Beast Palace was a place where monsters were kept. The monster plant's royal court did not use monsters as mounts. However, they still kept them and killed them for a taste. Lian did not seem to care. Her gaze was fixed on Fong Ping, a faint smile in her eyes. Make your move. Feng Miesheng had been too ostentatious recently. It was time for him to suffer a little. Did he really think that his father had fallen? Below the platform, Fong Ping held the Changdao at his waist as he walked. He was not in a hurry to get on the platform. When he reached the bottom of the platform, Fong Ping paused for a moment. He waited for other martial artists to approach him before he continued walking. After all, Lian was the Lord King's son. There were still people who relied on him. There were quite a lot of people, close to 30. Just as he was about to reach Li An, the energy fluctuations on Fong Ping's saber suddenly intensified. Lian smiled. She looked indifferent, as if she did not feel it. Beside her, Feng Miesheng's expression changed slightly. He did not speak. Kagu. The next moment, Fong Ping roared. The energy on the Changdao was extremely powerful. There were even faint mentality fluctuations. Destroy. As soon as Fong Ping's Changdao appeared, he roared again and slashed in all directions. At this moment, everyone was on the platform, unguarded. There were people from Dynasty, Divine Sect, and a few royal highnesses. No one thought that anyone would dare to make a move here. However, someone dared to do so now. Thud, 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 a series of sounds of metal entering bodies rang out around Fong Ping. The heads of more than 10 martial artists who were initially on the platform fell instantly. Behind him, Jin Yu Huai, whose nose had been slashed by the saber, retreated hastily because he was prepared. His face was full of fear and shock. F***CK. What was going on? This guy must have killed the wrong person, right? He killed the people recruited by Feng Miesheng, not the people recruited by Lian Kuei-ming. At this moment, Li En's face suddenly turned ashen. She stretched out her hand to grab Fong Ping. Feng Miesheng suddenly roared with laughter, and then he instantly attacked as well. Rumble! His energy exploded. Fong Ping hurriedly jumped behind Feng Miesheng and said in an unusually calm voice, "Your Highness Lian, I was originally following you with sincerity. However, you were narrow-minded and insisted that I kill His Highness's subordinates in front of everyone. You even tried to kill His Highness Feng. I was willing to follow your Highness because you are broad-minded. Since your Highness wants me to cut off my path of retreat, then I will follow your Highness's wishes." At this moment, Feng Miesheng also laughed loudly. "Lian, what a scheme. I have underestimated you. However, why didn't you think that you could compare to me? You're just a piece of trash. How dare you scheme against me at this time? You've overestimated yourself. I knew that you were up to no good, and were just putting on an act. I didn't expect you to reveal your true colors so easily. What a joke." Feng Miesheng was very pleased. At this moment, Hua Yu and the rest also looked at Li, and Lian did not attack again. Her expression did not change. Suddenly, she chuckled. "Feng Miesheng, are you trying to scheme against me? Is it fun to put on an act?" Feng Miesheng sneered and said, "Plot against you? You're not worthy. Still trying to pretend? Do you really think that I don't know everything? I know everything about it, including when you deliberately released the Snake King and the Longevity Sword in the 7 southern regions. Do you think that I don't know? What a joke. Kuei Luo saw everything you did that day. He had already asked Kuei Ming to inform me. Do you think that your scheme will succeed? Kuei Ming went to your side yesterday because I wanted him to test you. Initially, I wanted Kuei Ming to go to your side and understand more about the situation. I didn't expect you to expose yourself so easily. As expected, you've been acting all along. Today, I'll expose your true colors and let everyone see how ridiculous you are. Pretending to be crazy? Without strength, everything is meaningless. You're acting. You might not be the one acting. What a scheme. What a scheme. I've been thinking all this while, how could I have let Fong Ping escape when I made such thorough arrangements? So, you're the one who instructed me in the dark. No, perhaps you're not qualified. Fong Miesheng sneered. There was a slight commotion in the crowd. His words were too obvious. Fong Miesheng said that Li Yi had been acting all along and deliberately let Fong Ping go. However, Li Yi did not have the confidence, strength, or capital to do so. Then, it was obvious who was the one who instructed him in the dark. Li Yi's expression changed. She said mildly, Fong Miesheng, you're useless. Don't push everything to me. Ha ha, Li Yi, I'm useless, but you're not. You have the demeanor of the royal lord when he was young. The royal lord was also a hero of his generation. I was wondering how the royal lord's son could be so useless. Fong Miesheng said coldly. The royal lord used all his strength to kill Fong Ping this time. The hatred between me and Fong Ping is as deep as the sea. I wouldn't let him go on purpose. That day, I already felt that something was wrong. You have no grudge against Fong Ping. Why did you have to kill the longevity sword? So, you were waiting for me. You've been hiding in the Imperial City for so many years. Now, you want to go to the 7 southern regions. You've already made preparations. Li Yi, no matter how many schemes you have, they're still just schemes. Do you think you can fool everyone? If you look closely, there are loopholes everywhere. Beside him, Fong Ping despised him in his heart. Loopholes, my ass. If I don't tell you, what do you, an idiot, know? Fine. The more this idiot says, the better. Isn't it just making the catacombs chaotic? That works too. Li Yi, this fellow, does he think that if a rank 8 keeps an eye on me, I won't be able to leak information? Idiot! Fong Ping despised him secretly. Doesn't he know that I've already sided with Fong Miesheng? Of course, Fong Ping was prepared to be a double agent in advance. He would side with Fong Miesheng in secret, then side with Li Yi. To him, it made no difference who he sided with. He would not stay here for long, anyway. In the end, Li Yi insisted that he hand over the proof of his allegiance. Fong Ping thought that he might as well take the opportunity to act. Fong Miesheng, this idiot, might not have believed what he said earlier. Now, a rank 8 powerhouse kept an eye on him yesterday. Fong Miesheng must have seen it, right? Fong Ping waited for Fong Miesheng to speak for a while before saying hurriedly, Your Highness, it wasn't just me yesterday. Jin Yuhuai was there too. He also knows that Your Highness Li Yi ordered us to kill the people you recruited. As soon as he said that, Jin Yuhuai, who was behind him, was horrified. He shouted immediately, Your Highness Fong, I didn't mean that. Before he could finish his sentence, Jin Yuhuai suddenly slashed with his sword, killing the few people beside him, who were similarly retreating. After killing the other party, he immediately ran behind Fong Miesheng and said loudly, Your Highness, I felt that something was wrong last night. I wanted to contact Your Highness, but Your Highness Li Yi sent people to track us. Left with no choice, I decided to kill a few people on the spot today to show my loyalty. Fong Ping shot him a look. His desire to live was very strong. How could he do something like this? At this moment, Li Yi's expression was ashen. It was just a small matter. He did not pay much attention to it. In the end, he was schemed against by two small fries. Schemed against by this idiot Feng Miesheng? At this moment, Hua Yu and the rest who were standing at the side also looked surprised, looking at Li Yi. Feng Miesheng did not care about Jin Yuhuai. He sneered and said, "Only those who are not capable would play such tricks." Li Yi, I don't care about this. I only sent people to test you because I suspected you. However, you're the Lord's son. I won't hold it against you. However, now that I've returned to the palace, there are some things that I need to investigate. The palace has been at war for many years. In recent years, the land of rebirth has repeatedly gained the upper hand. This situation seems to have started more than 10 years ago. All these years, the Lord seems to not care about these things, whether he really doesn't care about it or not. After the Lord was seriously injured, the palace fell into a disadvantageous position. There's a reason for this. Everyone froze again. Feng Miesheng's words made everyone think again. What did he mean? Did the Lord deliberately put the palace in a disadvantageous position to show his importance? No. Everyone could not help but think about it. Perhaps it was because they were in a disadvantageous position that the palace did not launch a large-scale attack. If they did not launch a large-scale attack, the Lord would not need to expend too much energy. Otherwise, a seriously injured Lord would not have the ability and energy to lead the palace to launch such a war. When that time came, the Lord's position would definitely fall. Moreover, the palace fell into a disadvantageous position after the Lord was seriously injured. This was enough to prove the Lord's great foresight. It made people feel that the Lord was a hero in the past. If that was the case, some of the true kings might also want to find a way to help the Lord recover from his injuries. Right now, everyone was thinking about many things. However, no one said anything. Actually, there was another point. In recent years, it was mainly the Maple King and the others who were in charge of the palace. After a true king, like the Maple King, took charge of the palace, he did not achieve anything. Instead, he kept failing. This also dealt a blow to the prestige of the true kings, like the Maple King. The Maple King had always been at odds with the Lord. Back when Feng Jiuqing had not achieved the origin path, the Maple King had also thought of making Feng Jiuqing the Lord, but he failed in the end. Nonsense! Li Yi was slightly terrified. She yelled, "Feng Miesheng, how dare you slander me? I've already given up on the fight for the Lord's position. Are you so eager to get rid of your opponent?" Feng Miesheng was still quite astute. He sneered. "I'm eager? I'm slandering you? Do I need to? Some things can be left unchecked. If you do, there will be traces, including the death of the mystic Jade, true monarch. Watch your words." At this time, a rank 9 powerhouse in the air suddenly roared. Internal disputes could be discussed, but when it involved the death of a true monarch, and it was the death of a true monarch of the Destiny Royal Court, it must not be spoken of carelessly. If word got out, it would be a big deal. As soon as he finished speaking, the rank 9 powerhouse's eyes flashed fiercely. Rumble! A loud explosion was heard. Other than Fang Ping and the others who had been chosen, the rest of the people below the stage suddenly exploded. Fang Ping's pupils contracted sharply. How ruthless! Thousands of people, thousands of middle-ranked martial artists. This rank 9 had actually unleashed his aura, crushing this group of people to death directly. Some of the rank 6 martial artists who were still alive did not manage to escape in time. A divine weapon suddenly appeared in the rank 9 powerhouse's hand. The divine weapon pierced through the void, killing some of the martial artists who were still alive in an instant. It was only the second day of these foreign geniuses coming to the restricted zone, and only a few of them were left. At this moment, the rest of the people who were still alive were as silent as cicadas in winter. their faces pale. At this moment, this rank 9 powerhouse stared at Fong Ping and the rest, saying coldly, "Your Highnesses, you can't speak carelessly. No matter what the truth is, I believe that everyone here will keep their mouths shut." But these people from the foreign domain, Fong Ping cursed wildly in his heart. When Feng Miesheng said this, he felt very pleased. This idiot dared to say anything. However, at this time, they were in trouble. He was going to kill them to keep their mouths shut. P.S. Recommending a new book. I have a cheat classic of mountains and seas, a newcomer's new book. Brothers, please bookmark it and support it. Genius in a second. Remember this site's address. Mobile version. Chapter 7:28. In the field. As this expert's words rang out, the remaining cultivators from the other regions all turned pale. Fong Ping was on high alert, ready to flee at any time. The other party was strong. He was not a weak rank 9, but an elemental path powerhouse. He even had a divine weapon. A powerhouse like this was not someone Fong Ping could handle. They were worried, but Feng Miesheng did not seem to care. He sneered. "City Lord, why? Do you want to silence me? Why don't you just kill me too? I'm just speaking the truth. Is there a problem?" City Lord He's expression was ugly. He said in a low voice, "Your Highness, there are some things that ordinary people can say, outsiders can say, but Your Highness must not say. As one of the heirs to the Lord and a descendant of the true king, Your Highness knows better than I do." Feng Miesheng said, lightly, "Of course I know, but I didn't say anything, did I? I didn't mention any names either. City Lord you can't wait any longer. It's beneath your status." City Lord he frowned again. He was dissatisfied with Feng Miesheng. "Your status is different. Can you simply say something like questioning the Lord's plotting against the true king of destiny royal court in front of everyone?" At this moment, City Lord he even had the intention to kill, not to Feng Miesheng, but to the people from the dynasties and divine sects. Although these people were affiliated with the royal court, they were not directly under the royal court. It was easy to cause trouble. At this moment, in the sky, for rank 9 powerhouses from the dynasties and divine sects revealed their chi. Someone said playfully, "City Lord His Highness Feng was just joking. You don't have to take it seriously, right?" Yes. Although these people from the outer domain are average, many of them are descendants of God general martial artists. City Lord, he is being too hasty by killing them just like that. But it's understandable. City Lord he and the Lord have fought together for many years. They have a close relationship. It's understandable for him to kill them now. These powerhouses were joking, but they were very vigilant. Their chi was bursting, accumulating strength in secret. City Lord, he was the lord of the royal city at the border. The royal court had 360 god general city lords. Not all of them were elemental path powerhouses. There were at most 100 of them. Among these 100 people, City Lord He's strength could be considered the strongest. Because of this, although there were many experts in the air, they were still very cautious, worried that City Lord he would suddenly go berserk. City Lord he did not say a word. Beside him, another rank 9 powerhouse appeared beside Hua Yu. The rank 8 rank 5 powerhouse who had escorted them to the 7 southern regions also stood in front of Feng Miesheng. As for Feng extermination, a leaf appeared in his hand. Fong Ping glanced at it and thought to himself, the Maple King's mentality clone? But this way, it was a lot safer. City Lord he saw that everyone was on high alert and his killing intent instantly dissipated. He said indifferently, "I was just trying to prevent the news from spreading. There are some things that Your Highness and I might think are a joke. However, if it were to spread to the ears of others, they might not necessarily think that it's a joke. Having said that, he looked at Fong Ping and the rest, smiling faintly. Since these people will be under your highness' command, then I don't have to worry about anyone spouting nonsense. However, for the sake of the imperial court, I still hope that everyone will be careful with their words. Feng Mieshing sneered and said nothing. He ignored City Lord He and turned to look at Li Yi, who had not said a word. He smiled and said, Li Yi, let's call it a day. However, today's harvest is huge. It's worth it. I hope that you can continue to be free and unfettered when you return to the imperial city this time. Ha ha ha. Feng Mieshing laughed heartily. He looked at Hua Yu and the rest again and laughed heartily. Everyone, I've said everything that needs to be said. Do as you see fit. If I, Feng Mieshing, want to fight, then I will do it openly. There are some sinister people who must be on guard. After saying that, Feng Mieshing leaped into the air and left immediately. Fong Ping and the rest hurriedly followed. As they did so, Fong Ping looked down. After watching for a while, Fong Ping could not help but whisper, Your Highness, those people brought all the resources to the imperial court. He could not hold it in any more. Feng Mieshing, you're really an idiot. Thousands of people. After killing so many people, these people brought all their belongings. How many good things are there? He did not have the right to collect them, but Feng Mieshing did. When the time came, he could just take them back after killing Feng Mieshing and make him a custodian. However, if he left just like that, would it not benefit others? Feng Mieshing's silhouette paused slightly, but he did not stop. He was the crown prince. Was he going to loot the corpses now? However, he still glanced at the rank 8 martial artist beside him from the corner of his eyes. The rank 8 powerhouse did not say much after seeing that. With a wave of his hand, he did not take the energy stones. The few divine weapons and some small bags full of energy fell into his hands instead. As for the energy stones, they were not rare items. With Feng Mieshing's status, it would be too much to plunder them. However, no one would say anything if he took some divine weapons and heavenly treasures. There were not many divine weapons. Foreign divine weapons were rare to begin with. Among the thousands of people present, there would not be more than 10 who had divine weapons. This person took 5 of them with a wave of his hand. It was not a small number. Currently, Feng Mieshing was also lacking divine weapons. That day when he led those people to fight with Fong Ping in the imperial battleground, some of them were his direct subordinates. He was the one who gave them the divine weapons. In the end, they all benefited Fong Ping. It just so happened that he was short of money recently. Otherwise, with his previous wealth, he might not have asked his followers to take these things. After Feng Mieshing left, the others laughed for a while before leaving. Hua Yu and the other crown princes also left quickly. When they left, they all took a deep look at Li Yi. After these people had left, Li Yi's face suddenly turned pale. He gritted his teeth and bellowed, Kuei Ming! This despicable person. He must kill him. Li Yi did not expect that he would be defeated by Kuei Ming today. He thought that everything was under his control. He did not expect that Kuei Ming had colluded with Feng Mieshing a long time ago. He had actually been tricked by a general-level martial artist. Now, with Feng Mieshing's words, news about Li Yi would spread very quickly. Even his father would be noticed by some people, and they might even be wary of him. This was troublesome. Beside him, City Lord he frowned slightly and said in a low voice, Your Highness, you were too hasty this time. You shouldn't have let Kuei Ming humiliate Feng Mieshing today. Otherwise, he would only be planting a spy at most. If Li Yi had not insisted on Kuei Ming doing this, Kuei Ming might not have attacked Li Yi's men on the spot. Then, this would not have happened. In the end, in order to humiliate Feng Miexing, Li Yi wanted Kuei Ming to do this. Now, Feng Miexing was the one who had the upper hand. As for the spies, they were nothing. The fight for the throne was dangerous to begin with. Which of the 16 successors did not have a few spies by their side? Li Yi's expression changed. After a long time, he said, "Uncle I was too careless this time. I was too hasty. Feng Miexing has been getting more and more arrogant lately. In the royal court, he has repeatedly instructed some people to contradict my father. I, too. Feng Miexing is not scary. The key is still King Feng." "City Lord," he sighed. "Your Highness, King Feng is the one you should be concerned about. Feng Miexing is just a pawn. Without him, there are still others. The key is still King Feng. With King Feng around, Feng Miexing has the confidence to be arrogant. Your Highness is still too young. No matter how arrogant Feng Miexing is, it will not change anything. The more arrogant he is, the easier it is for others to target him and the other princes to value him." "City Lord," he sighed. Li Yi was still too inexperienced. She did not see through him at all. What was Feng Miexing? It did not matter if he died or not. Feng Qin was one of the successors. Now that he was dead, he was nothing. The Feng family quickly pushed out Feng Miexing, and he became the successor of the Lord. The root of all this was King Feng. Li Yi should have continued to endure and lay low instead of trying to suppress Feng Miexing. Compared to the Lord, Li Yi was too far away. "City Lord," he thought to himself. Soon he said coldly, "This matter is nothing. The Lord is heavily injured. To protect himself, I asked you to endure. It's no big deal. Many people suspected that you were pretending. Now that you were exposed, their suspicions were cleared. As for other things without evidence, who would dare to speak carelessly? Although the Lord is injured, there are people in the true King Hall who support the Lord. As long as the Lord does not die, everything that happened today is nothing." "City Lord," he comforted her and said, "But don't go around in the near future. Don't provoke the Lord's enemies." That Kuei Ming, Li Yi was still unwilling. "City Lord," he sneered, "he's just a small champion. Since you can't take it anymore, there's no need to find a chance and kill him. As long as Feng Miexing is not present. So what if they know that you killed him? You don't have to endure too much. You are also enduring. The more people worry that you have a big plan. Since they know that you were pretending, there's no need for you to continue pretending. You are still young and have a high status. You must kill a foreign champion after being humiliated by him. Not only do you have to kill him, but you have to do it cleanly to intimidate others." Li Yi heaved a sigh of relief after hearing City Lord He's words. Then her face turned pale. Kuei Ming must die. And that Jin Yuhuai. Oh, and Kuei Luo and Jin Yuhuai's fathers. City Lord, he frowned slightly. "No way. These people are from the foreign royal city. They are also the frontline powerhouses fighting the land of rebirth. Killing them will easily attract the hostility of the foreign powerhouses, although the foreign powerhouses belong to the palace in name. However, since 300 years ago, the passageway was locked and true kings were not allowed to enter. These people have become indifferent to the royal power. It can be seen from the way they call themselves kings. Killing their generals will easily make the foreign royal city hostile. They cannot act on their own. Unlike the palace, if these descendants die, then so be it. The restricted area is full of danger. Those who send their descendants into the restricted area are already prepared to die. Your Highness, you should bear with it. You can't always act recklessly. Some things have to be experienced." Li Yi said respectfully, "I've learned." Thank you for your guidance. Uncle he. City Lord he sighed. There's a limit to what I can do. It's a pity that the Lord was heavily injured back then. Of the two great generals on the left and right, one died and the other was injured. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. Back then, the top powerhouses of the three path of origins had surrounded Li Jun. The three of them were the strongest powerhouses below the true monarch realm. In the end, one of the three was killed on the spot. The Lord's origin was destroyed. The other one was lucky enough to escape, but he was also heavily injured. After so many years, his injuries had not fully healed. Otherwise, the Lord wouldn't be so weak. More than 10 years ago, the Lord's power was monstrous. Not to mention that he was about to become a true monarch. The two great generals on the left and right who were close to him were also about to become true monarchs. If he hadn't ambushed Li Jun back then, perhaps 3 true monarchs would have appeared today. In addition, in the True Monarch Hall, there were a group of true monarchs who supported the Lord. If the Lord became a true monarch, some true monarchs who were wavering would also change sides. Thinking of this, City Lord he sighed. Netherworld King, Martial King, sigh. He sighed. Li Yi gritted her teeth and said, Father said that he fell into the Martial King's trap back then. When the Martial King broke through, he didn't show his power. But after the breakthrough, his battle strength was extremely strong, even stronger than those true monarchs in Star-Subduing City. The Netherworld King was never weaker than the Martial King. At that time, there were rumors that with the guidance of Heavenly King Subduing, the Netherworld King could break through and step onto 2 great Daos at the same time, becoming the strongest under Heavenly King Subduing. Because of this, Father and the 2 royal uncles entered the outer region to ambush the Netherworld King. City Lord he was speechless. He naturally knew about these things. Hearing Li Yi's words, he also felt it was a pity. He sighed and said, We were indeed misled back then. If not for that, even if the Netherworld King broke through, as long as the Lord and the 2 great generals broke through, we wouldn't have to worry about the Netherworld King. Li Yi gritted her teeth again and said, And the Maple King and the others back then, shut up. City Lord he frowned slightly and scolded, not giving her a chance to continue. After looking around, City Lord he said, Your Highness return to the Imperial City as soon as possible and break through to the Supremacy Realm. You don't have to worry about the Lord. We are still here, so nothing will happen to the Lord. In the 360 Royal City, even if some people have betrayed you, there is still a group of old people who support the Lord. They will still support you, but your Highness needs to display the ability and strength you deserve. Otherwise, it will be difficult. City Lord he reminded again. In the past, the Lord's great ambition had subdued many powerhouses. However, after the Lord's injuries, there were people who had succumbed to other people over the years. However, it had only been more than 10 years. To powerhouses, it was not a long time. The Lord was not dead either. There were still many people who had hope. As long as Li Yi performed outstandingly, these people might continue to support her. Remember Li Yi? Li Yi responded. Looking at Feng Mieshing and the others who had disappeared far away, she did not say anything else. She leaped into the air and entered the palace. Under the control of a rank 8 powerhouse, the palace flew toward the imperial city. In front, in midair, Feng Mieshing's flying speed was not considered fast. He was not in a hurry to talk to Feng Ping. Instead, he looked at the pale Jin Yuhuai with a smile. Jin Yuhuai looked terrified. He said hurriedly, Your Highness, I really do belong to Your Highness. I have long wanted to follow you. Last night, Brother Kuei persuaded me to follow Li Yi. I can't refuse your kindness. I had no choice but to follow Brother Kuei to Li Yi. Who would have thought that Li Yi would be so ambitious? Feng Mieshing sneered. He looked at Fang Ping and said, Kuei Ming, do you think he should be killed? Fang Ping hurriedly cupped his fists and said, Since your highness has made the decision, I dare not overstep my boundaries. Ha ha ha. Feng Mieshing laughed. Then his expression turned cold. He shouted, I don't like this kind of thing. What should be said should be said. Why wouldn't I dare to say it? Kuei Ming, you are not an innocent person. You dared to attack a venerable. Today, you even killed Li Yi's subordinates in front of everyone. What I value is your audacity. As long as you don't become a true king, I won't worry about you rebelling. If you really become a true king, I probably won't be able to order you around. There's no need to put on airs. Fang Ping was a little surprised. Feng Mieshing was not really stupid. He could see through some things more thoroughly. He just did not want to put on airs. In his eyes, Kuei Ming was an audacious fellow. He was shrewd too. Otherwise, he would not have done what he did today. If that was the case, then there was no need for him to put on an act in front of him. He was not afraid that Kuei Ming would rebel now. He was just a general-level martial artist. He had offended Li Yi. If he offended him now, then he would really be courting death. Unless this fellow reached true king level. When that time came, if he was not a true king, he would not have the ability to order a true king around. But was it possible? Feng Mieshing sneered in his heart. How was it possible? Could anyone become a true monarch? Back then, there were 3 powerhouses in the royal court. Now, one was dead, one was injured, and the last one was half dead. He would fall soon. More than 10 years ago, many people said that the 3 of them had hopes of becoming true kings. They were even known as potential true kings, only one step away. In the end, none of them succeeded. Feng Mieshing understood. Seeing this, Fang Ping coughed softly and smiled. Your Highness is wise. I dare not hide anything from you, Your Highness. Since Jin Yuhuai has abandoned the dark side and is not under Your Highness' command, there is no benefit in killing him. I can see that his combat strength is not weak. Why don't we keep him alive? He might be useful in the future. Fang Ping felt that Jin Yuhuai could not die now. He was still planning to interrogate him about the Dongwu catacombs. Now that he was dead, where could he find that traitor? Ha ha ha. All right, I won't kill him then. Feng Mieshing laughed loudly and said, Kuei Ming, you have done a great service this time. I have always rewarded meritorious deeds and punished mistakes. Your life gate is not sealed. When we return to the imperial city, I will reward you with a box of Fountain of Life to help you seal your gate and become a peak warrior. Thank you, Your Highness. Fang Ping's face was full of joy. Life essence was still helpful in sealing the life gate. The vitality that life essence nurtured was very strong. When the life gate was sealed, the vitality would seal the gate faster. A box was about 10 caddies. Fang Ping had learned about this when he was trading. These descendants of true kings were rich, richer than those fellows in Star Town. After all, these true kings still had rank 9 monster plants under their command. On top of that, I will reward you with a rank 7 divine weapon. Fang Ping was overjoyed again, bowing to thank him. A smile bloomed on his face, but on the inside, Fang Ping was very calm. This little benefit was enough to make a rank 6 martial artist cry tears of gratitude, but it was not enough for him. Besides, what was Feng Mieshing's was his. It was just his left hand going to his right hand. There was nothing to be happy about. At this moment, Fang Ping was more concerned about where to go. He did not know the way, and Feng Mieshing did not tell him either. He really did not know where to fly to now. Fang Ping memorized the route along the way. He memorized some landmark buildings and landmarks very deeply. He was afraid that he did not know the way out, and that would be troublesome. When he wanted to leave in the future, he did not run to Mount Imperial Sea, but back to the enemy's lair. That would be asking for death. Soon, Feng Ping knew where to go. Sky Plant City. Feng Mieshing said while flying, "Lord Protector, the holy fruit is about to ripen soon. I won't return to the Maple Royal Territory now to avoid missing the opportunity. I will go to Sky Plant City first and wait for the holy fruit to ripen before returning to the Royal Territory." As soon as he finished speaking, the rank 8 powerhouse beside him said, "Your Highness, if you meet Her Highness Ji Yao again, Your Highness should restrain yourself. King Lord Ji Hong has broken through to True King Realm." Now that the Ji family's strength has increased tremendously, Destiny Royal Court has been completely controlled by the Ji family. Feng Mieshing frowned, saying unhappily, "I know, but that woman, Ji Yao, is rather hostile toward me." Feng Mieshing felt very helpless too. He wanted to marry Ji Yao, but the problem was that Ji Yao looked down on him. She was extremely hostile and contemptuous toward him. Every time they met, she would not say anything nice to him. Under such circumstances, how could he speak nicely and take the initiative to improve their relationship? At the side, Feng Ping did not say a word. He did not care about them either. Instead, he put up a finger at Jin Yuhuai. Jin Yuhuai's expression changed drastically. How much? 100 or 1,000? He understood what Kuei Ming meant instantly. He did this action often too. It was nothing more than a fee for speaking up for him just now. The key was that Jin Yuhuai was panicking inside. It was this fellow who brought him there yesterday. Today, this fellow actually showed him kindness and even wanted to collect protection fees from him. Was there any justice in this world? You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.